back in 2006. And this was before we coined the term Karen, but there was a person who would come in and she fit that bill of being very entitled. But one day she came in and I still remember her order because of how badly she reacted. She wanted 2 chocolate frappuccinos and a latte. She complained that the latte I made her was too milky, therefore she wanted a cappuccino, which is more foam. And then she lost her mind when we put whipped cream on her frappuccinos, even though she didn't say no whip. You know, customers always right. You make it as it's supposed to be for the recipe. So as I remake her frappuccinos, and people in line are starting to feel bad for me because I'm this little 18-year-old trying to get things ready for her. So I hand her frappuccinos. Bill, she puts her hands over mine as I'm handing her frappuccinos, draws me in close and goes, "You're not very bright, are you?" I still, to this day, don't know how I managed this, but something to me, I just said, "Ma'am, I'm so sorry you're having such a terrible day. I hope tomorrow is better."
Oh, you didn't punch her?
No, I was a little terrified 18-year-old. I was still impressed that I managed to be killer with kindness.
I don't know what happens, why people get, whether it's in the drive-thru or whether it's at a, you're getting your
power
coffee.
Trip.
It is amazing that people are having such a bad day that, God forbid, you get their order wrong and they just go through the roof as if it's the end of the world. Gotta love it. Megan has an update on news and maybe, who knows, maybe some thoughts of what she wanted to do to that woman coming up. Also, we'll speak with Ryan Schmemell from Fox News Radio coming right up here on a Tuesday morning at WIBX.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 6:03. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. It is 27 degrees and windy, so bundle up today. But hopefully days like this are few and far in between as we head further into spring. The University at Buffalo is planning to create a new AI department. On Friday, Governor Kathy Hochul said the school will receive $5 million to be used for equipment, hiring new faculty, and a new facility. Undergraduate and graduate degrees are planning to be offered and will focus on research, teaching, and community outreach. The Faculty Senate Committee says it's recommending the department for approval. A meeting to vote on the recommendation is next Tuesday. New York City is suing 9 major national distributors for illegally selling flavored e-cigarettes. The federal lawsuit alleges the defendants have been distributing e-cigarettes with youth-attracting flavors to sub-distributors that then supply retail stores or sell them directly to consumers, violating laws. The city previously banned e-cigarettes, which contains highly addictive nicotine, and have been cracking down on illegal vape shops. The Mega Millions is making major changes. The price of a ticket jumped to $5 with Saturday's launch of a new version of the multi-state lottery game, which now features a built-in random multiplier. Also, a new prize structure will begin with the April 8th drawing. Lottery officials say the changes include bigger prizes across the board and better odds to win the jackpot. Mega Millions estimates the average jackpot win in the new game will top $800 million, which is about twice the size of an old game. And a second Texas child has died in a measles outbreak that has grown close to 500 known cases. The State Department of Health and Human Services did not release specific details on the victim. They would only say it's a school-aged child with no underlying conditions. The death is being attributed to measles pulmonary failure. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said in a statement that the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine. WIBX 950 AM news time is 6:35. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Should be surprised by the snow showers, some getting accumulating snowfall, maybe a little slick on the roadways this morning. It's cold, it's breezy to windy at times, and even a wind advisory. Some of our northern counties, once again, winter weather advisories for inches of accumulating snowfall. We have snow on the ground here this morning, but additional accumulations less than half an inch, near 30. That's it this afternoon with the gusty winds making it feel colder. Some snow showers tonight and tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Ray Stitchick at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
27 degrees and windy. Like I said, hopefully these days will be few and far in between as we get closer to summer.
Coming up, I thought this was interesting on the stock market. How much are people following it? And it is a bumpy ride if you're trying to follow the you really should maybe at the end of the week look at it as opposed to looking at it through the day as you're watching it go up. Yesterday was a great example. There was a rumor that the president was going to get rid of the tariffs or at least put them on pause for 90 days. All of a sudden, the stock market went sky high and was booming until we learned that was not true. But it was, for the losses we've been getting, being down some 300 points is, I guess, a positive when you look at where it's been. But how many Americans really, really care about it? You might be surprised. I have that coming right up along with Ryan Schmemell from Fox News Radio, 636 at WIBX.
Hi folks, this is Rob Hilton. Your family is your greatest treasure. Is your estate plan ready to protect them when it matters most? At Hilton Estate and Elder Law, we understand the importance of getting it right. That's why we offer a free review of your current plan. Together we'll assess it and provide honest feedback to ensure it truly works. No cost, no obligation, just confidence and peace of mind. Let's prepare for the future together. Schedule a free review today.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit bmecompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Trust Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow by New Nordic. Millions of men and women around the world trust Hair Grow. With its patented tocotrienol complex, Hair Grow naturally reduces inflammation in the scalp and is clinically proven to promote new hair growth and increase hair count in as little as 4 months. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Don't miss Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event. We're giving you the best deals of the season on all of our inventory. Thousands of used and new equipment in stock, all in one location. Get 0% financing on new Ferris commercial mowers, Massey Ferguson, and New Holland equipment. And trailers and used equipment as low as 5.49%. Restrictions apply. We're giving you the best deals of the season. It's Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Championship is in the balance. Florida leads it by 2. 6 seconds, 5 seconds, short. He walked, he can't touch it. He can't, 1 second, and it's over. Florida is back on top of the college basketball world. It's a great day to be a Gator. They win the national title. Houston did not get a shot off. Florida 65, Houston 63.
Yeah, they did not even get a shot off there, Davey. That was, wow. I have a friend whose kid goes to Florida. They were all They were hooping and hollering last night. Real happy. As Florida defeats Houston for the national championship. Couple of things before we get to Ryan on the stock market. How many people do you think really care about the stock market, are following it? And I get it. People will say, well, if I'm not in the stock market, it doesn't affect me, but it really does.
It does.
What do you think in terms of, do you think the majority of people care?
I think they would. I mean, I took one look at my 401k retirement plan and felt a couple of tears because of how small it got.
If you have a 401k, absolutely does affect you. In a new poll, 28% of Americans say they don't care. They don't follow it. They don't care much at all what happens in the stock market. On the other hand, half of the people asked say they do care. I think a lot of people watching it that probably don't normally watch the stock market.
Yeah.
Here's another survey. 77% of people say they have digital clutter. Boy, I know I do.
Yep.
And it negatively impacts their life. The average person has how many unread emails?
Oh, Bill, I try to keep a good handle on my inbox, but when you get those landslides, I mean, it's so hard to get through them, especially with all the spam emails you're getting recently.
The average person has 1,044 unread emails, 12 unread text messages, 17 unread social media notifications. And I do think that now, since AI, and I know that Apple...
You've got mail.
Ooh, apparently I got another one. Just came in. Now that
that's nostalgic.
Apple does, and I think that Gmail does the same thing. You can set up a summary. So you'll see a summary of your email. And I think a lot of people, if they know what's coming, the summary kind of touches on it, and they don't ultimately end up reading the email. So, but
honestly, that amount you gave, that's, to me, it's doable because I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah. Well, I was just looking to see what I have in mind right now. I currently have 35,580 emails.
Wow.
Because I'm not I kind of, the thing I like about email is you can always go back and trace your tracks.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for something or if there was a file that was sent, you can always just kind of go back. So I just leave it, pay attention to the new stuff. And you can also, and a lot of these, do some prioritizing, where you can, it'll show you the most important emails you need to follow if you are willing to trust that.
And I take it, Bill, that as long as you said, even though with all the unread emails that you have, if somebody sends you an email, that doesn't give them an invite to email you again. You'll get to it.
Yeah, I guess if I don't get to it and they need to remind me, I guess I'm okay with that. Because maybe I won't get to it. Market looking. This is Richard. Market looking for a bounce back today, but I think by the end of the day it will close down. Fighting with China is a no-win situation. You know where Richard stands on this. Tariffs now on China at 104%. This is suicidal. And then Rob, I'll give you one more because Rob is basically on the I'd say is on the other side. Although Wayne's saying stock market is out of any of our control. It's like riding a good or bad wave. You're going nowhere. And then Rob says on the Supreme Court, SCOTUS just ruled the district judge was incorrect in his ruling and is allowing Trump to deport 3 terrorist scumbags to their home countries using the 1798 immigration law. And the reality, the Supreme Court decision really said they were in the wrong jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And my guess is they'll take it back to Texas where they should have in the first place. But you realize they want to take it to the east. They want to go to the east where the federal judges are a little more favorable in this topic. So it'll be interesting to see what a federal judge in Texas does if it's reintroduced today. On the line, Ryan Schmemell is right now from Fox News Radio. Ryan, House Republicans looking, speaking of these judges, to push and tighten some of the rules on judges this week. This starts in the House. I'm not sure how far it flies through the Senate. Good morning, Ryan Schmemell. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. What do you think? How far does this go? And first of all, what are our Republicans in the House looking to do right now?
Yeah, so this is called the No Rogue Rulings Act, which would pretty much rein in some of the power that these district court judges have when it comes to issuing nationwide injunctions. And as you noticed, nationwide injunctions and legal challenges have probably become the most effective tool for Democrats when it comes to combating the Trump agenda. And it has been effective in stopping a number of these policies in some cases, including some of these migrant flights that you've seen that were containing alleged gang members out there. So that's probably been the big thing. That's kind of the goal of it right now.
Now, how far does this go through the Senate? It'll be a tough through the Senate. A tough road through the Senate, I would expect.
Yeah, if this were to be able to get through the House, and it probably will, we'll see. It's going to be voted on later today. The Senate's going to be a different story. I don't even know if we've seen Leader Thune really even entertaining this, especially when actually I believe the Senate actually has its own bills when it comes to this. I think there's one from Chuck Grassley and one from Josh Hawley. So, I think the Senate might just want to push forward with their own legislation and not actually take this specific one up.
I thought it was interesting, too, that the Supreme Court, and they're being very, very careful in their decisions, especially the emergency decisions. They take things piece by piece from a legal perspective, which is what you'd expect out of the Supreme Court. So in this case, really not taking up the issue of whether or not the president has the executive power to be able to do what's currently being done. Basically saying, actually, you're in the wrong court. You shouldn't be in D.C. You should be in Texas.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe one of the things I think people are wanting the Supreme Court to do is kind of rule more broadly on this issue to kind of make it clear and essentially establish the law. Now, of course, people might say that's what you call legislating from the bench, but at the same time, I think some people have just been waiting for the Supreme Court to kind of make a final decision and give us a broad decision so that we can have some type of benchmark for what these district court judges can do and what their nationwide injunctions can actually have when it comes to an impact on that. Yeah, and especially when it comes to which courtroom you can actually use in a case like this, because there is this issue of forum shopping that people keep talking about, where you go to a district court judge who you think is going to be more favorable to
you don't want to go to
opinion.
Texas. You don't want to go to Texas.
You don't want to go to Exactly. And Republicans did this where they intentionally went to Texas with President Biden's student loan program because they felt that the judge there would give them a more favorable outcome.
Right. The other part of this isn't the system working, though? And I realize I'm hearing from somebody this morning saying this is judicial overreach. This is legislating from the bench. The president, of course, saying that. But isn't the system working the way it's supposed to? It's brought by someone who disagrees with it. They bring it to a court. The court then rules. If they rule against it, in this case, the administration has a chance to challenge it. They did. They went straight to the Supreme Court for an emergency challenge. The Supreme Court ruled on their behalf. And I feel like, isn't that the way it's supposed to work?
I mean, some might argue that, of course. Yeah. But then you'll have maybe some who say that doesn't excuse these judges from making what they call rogue rulings or being activist judges. That's kind of the question. Are some of these judges acting within their peripheral, or are they acting roguely and just trying to combat the Trump administration? But, some might push back and say, well, the judge that's kind of under question the most, James Boasberg, was first appointed by George Bush, then eventually appointed by Barack Obama. Every time he was up for confirmation, he got significant bipartisan support. So I think that's something that's pointed out too.
It is interesting. We go back to the Biden, for instance, the student loan forgiveness. Your head was spinning. One judge is like, "Yep, it's constitutional." The next judge, "Oh, sorry, it's not constitutional." It is very interesting because when you put two judges in the room, there's a very good chance their interpretation of constitutional law could be very, very different and on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, let's go to something even more interesting. Boy, Houston just could not score last night in the second half.
Well, and I believe that was their Achilles heel, that they were a good defensive team, but they were not a good scoring team and not a good, it's a very old school style of play.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was just a heartbreaking ending for them. Too.
It was. Didn't even get a shot off.
You look at, and now of course that was just perfect defense. I think that that block at the end. I mean, if he would have gone up for the shot, that thing would have been swatted all the way back to the other side of the court. It was just one of the most perfectly timed jumps with a shot that I've ever seen a defensive player make. And unfortunately, for Houston, he ended up not being able to get back control of that ball, and it cost them the game.
Do you want to add to this, Cully? I'm looking at you stare at me like you're burning a hole through my head.
Yeah, I would just like to say overall, the NCAA tournament really seemed kind of down and boring, in my opinion.
It's funny because I've heard other people say that. I don't agree.
There were not a lot of upsets this year.
No Cinderella stories.
There were not any Cinderella stories. There were not any upsets, Ryan. But every game, how could you say it wasn't exciting when it came down to the final seconds last night?
Because they're scoring 63 points.
I
want to see games in the 80s. I want to see games in the 100s.
All right.
I don't want to see 63 points.
Yeah. Well, you should watch the NBA.
Keep in mind too. I mean, like Houston kind of is a Cinderella team. I mean, they're not. They just got into the group of 5 just recently.
Yeah.
The power.
Kelvin Sampson's has been in a number of different schools. So I mean, they just happen to be a 1 seed this year because they were really good. But Houston kind of had that Cinderella thing going for them a little bit.
Let me go back to the court thing. This is Rob, and this, Rob, is where I disagree. The problem is, he says, district judges can't make a nationwide injunction. However, they can make a decision which creates precedence. He then says, and district judges aren't part of the Constitution like the Supreme Court is. It's a part of our system. You work your way up to the Supreme Court, and ultimately the Supreme Court is the supreme
final say
decider in the land. How do you respond to that, Ryan?
Yeah, well, I think that's part of. I think a part of this legislation too is that in many ways it probably would take the power out of the district court judges, and in many ways force a lot of these lawsuits that would involve the federal government
to go straight,
kind of bypass district court and kind of go to the higher courts a lot quicker. And kind of maybe take that question out of the peripheral for a little bit.
However, when you really look at this, what the Supreme Court did in this decision, I mean, I only have a Cracker Jack law degree, box law degree. When you look at this decision, the Supreme Court basically said, go back down to the district court. You're in the wrong place. Yeah. They really did. They could have decided on this, but they didn't.
Yep. Interesting. That's a fair decision to do so.
It also bought them time, too, because by putting it down to the lower court, it gives them more time to deliberate and make sure that the appropriate conversation and decision is made. And
then finally, do you have a final? You're staring at me and you're just driving me crazy.
Because I've been disgusted with this. All it does is clog up the appellate court.
Ryan, his father's an attorney. So
the appellate court, it goes to the Supreme Court, and it gets sent back down to the appellate court to make the decision. The dockets are so far behind.
Yes.
Trials aren't getting to court for years.
Yeah, because of COVID.
But this really doesn't. This went straight to the Supreme Court. This kind of. But anyway, nonetheless, I understand what you're talking about.
I know which one you're talking about.
Ryan, enough of this. Congratulations to Florida, and I know you're rooting for Baltimore. Mets are on a winning streak. I'm really happy. Okay, that's all. Thank you, Ryan.
All right, see y'all.
All right, have fun. Goodbye. I'm sorry about the end of all of that. I get it, but aren't you talking about really two different things? The appellate court is at a state level and usually gets more state issues. If you go to a federal court, you're dealing with an issue that's a federal issue. So you're really talking about two different things.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
But
however, your father is an attorney.
He's not a good one. But
he's not. Your father's a so-so attorney.
No.
He's okay.
I would not hire him.
He's all right.
No,
I wouldn't hire him.
Hire Mr. Hobeika. Okay. Don't hire Herb Cullen.
All right. That's just
that would be interesting to have Hobeika weigh in on this.
That is just not true. All right, I got a break. Let me break, and we'll come back here. And there's so much to get to. We're jam-packed in the 7 o'clock hour. And I do want to talk about who is going to be at, because I got to tell you, I think that I'm hopeful that Syracuse will be competitive this year in basketball. I know everybody's in here shaking their heads. But J.J. Starling and Donnie Freeman are two of the contenders for Syracuse. He'll be playing in this wheelchair basketball event coming up on Thursday.
And they both announced last week that they are coming back.
They're coming back, and I think that's a real positive. And
the women, too, are going to be there.
The
Five
women are 5 members of the U.S. or the Syracuse women's team are going to be there. Okay, and then finally, Davey,
yes.
Hobica's free money question of the day is next hour.
$150.
You're going with $150, $150 on the line.
Really? I thought you would be in a better mood.
Great question, and we'll which I believe we'll have, and we'll get to it coming up here. Stand by at WIBX.
Now at Kubota Orange Days, your local Kubota dealer at White's Farm Supply is delivering the savings you need for the life you love. Join us on Saturday, April 26th at our Waterville location for the exclusive deals on America's favorite compact tractors. We'll help you find the perfect match with special Orange Days financing and savings. Don't miss this chance to save on the Kubota you've always wanted. Only at White's Farm Supply in Waterville on Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
White's Farm Supply.
The church gives us a peace the world cannot give. Letting go of bitterness and resentment can help us find inner peace. The sacrament of reconciliation and the grace the sacrament provides may help us to forgive ourselves, forgive others, and enjoy a peace we may not have known for years. What a gift! On April 14th, Catholic churches throughout the diocese will be open for the sacrament of reconciliation. The light is on for you. Come home for Easter and celebrate the joy of the risen Christ.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, I got a couple minutes to squeeze in a few more things here, and I will. Okay, here we go. How about Pete Best? Do we all know who Pete Best is? Or should I say who he was? Pete Best was the original drummer of the Beatles before they fired him and Ringo Starr came in. He has been performing in a variety of bands ever since then. I did not know that Pete Best is still alive. But he announced his retirement on Saturday. Thanks to the Beatles' Anthology 1 album, his talents finally got released from when they were cutting audition tapes. Here are 3 quick examples of Pete Best playing on a Beatles recording. Do you want to hear it?
Absolutely.
Here are 3 of them. Here we go.
Oh, ain't she sweet? We'll see you walking down that street. Yes, I ask you very confidently. Ain't she sweet? And I waited for your kiss. Waited for.
By the way, there was John singing first, then Paul singing, and then the next will be George.
All of this, like dreamers do. 3 cool cats. 3 cool cats.
So there you go. Boom, 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 boom. That was Pete Best on those early recordings of the Beatles. Doesn't sound much different though, does it, than Ringo Starr, as if he was playing. Anyway, I didn't know he was still alive, but he is, and he is retiring. Got a break. News coming up next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
The selling may stop, at least for now. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Stock futures are rising, suggesting a rebound is brewing as markets also rise in Asia and Europe. They're up about 700 points for the Dow after a more than 4,000-point plunge the past 3 trading days, reacting to President Trump's new U.S. tariffs on most imports.
We have many countries that are coming to negotiate deals with us, and they're going to be fair deals.
But China's not negotiating, not backing off its big reciprocal tariffs on American exports. So President Trump threatening an additional 50% tariff on Chinese goods this week. China's Commerce Ministry is calling it bullying, adding they will fight to the end. A win for the president at the Supreme Court. which lifted a judge's order that had blocked more deportation flights under the Alien Enemies Act, put in place after 2 flights took alleged Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador.
This overturns a lower court order which had barred those removals from taking place. Here's Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
Today is a bad day to be a terrorist in the United States of America.
The High Court's decision, though, is quite narrow. They're not addressing the constitutionality of using the wartime authority. Instead, they say the plaintiffs must bring their lawsuit to a Texas federal court where the detentions took place and not in a D.C. federal court. The Supreme Court also ruled that the detainees must be given notice and an opportunity to challenge their removals.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. Chief Justice John Roberts also got involved in a challenge to the deportation of a Maryland man mistakenly deported on those flights to El Salvador. Roberts paused a Monday night deadline ordering the Trump administration to bring him back. Gators fans partied into the night in Gainesville, celebrating a national championship. Florida won the men's college basketball title, beating Houston 65-63. Here's Coach Todd Golden.
I do think what separates us and what has separated us all season long is our team talent and the way our guys have played together and for each other all year. And because of that, we can call each other national champions for the rest of our lives.
America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. The brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
President Trump made his comment about trade deals at the White House with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as one of the many world leaders trying to negotiate agreements with the U.S.
We are going to eliminate the tariffs, and rapidly.
The talks also, of course, involved Israel's war against Hamas, still raging in Gaza.
We are trying very hard to get the hostages out. We're looking at another ceasefire. We'll see what happens.
The president also made news on Iran, trying to rein in its nuclear program.
A deal is preferable to the alternative, President Trump says, announcing high-level talks between the U.S. and Iran on Saturday.
I think if the talks aren't successful with Iran, I think Iran is going to be in great danger.
The president made those talks public during an Oval Office meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister. Benjamin Netanyahu says he and President Trump agree Iran cannot get nuclear weapons.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Before those talks with Israel's leader, the president got to have fun honoring the Los Angeles Dodgers, last year's World Series champs.
You showed America that it's not about individual glory. It's about the team digging deep and sprinting right through first base, and you did that all the time.
Just over 5 months since the Los Angeles Dodgers won the World Series over the New York Yankees after they had won the National League pennant versus the New York Mets, the team was honored Monday at the White House by President Trump.
Some of those teams were home teams, and you did a big number.
The Dodgers beat the Yankees last fall 4-1, powered by the first player ever in Major League Baseball's 50-50 club, Shohei Ohtani.
Hitting 54 home runs and 59 steals and an accomplishment unparalleled in 149 years of Major League Baseball. Think of that.
President Trump told Shohei Ohtani he looked like a movie star. Jared Max, Fox News.
Well, last night, the Dodgers lost in Washington, beaten 6-4 by the Nationals. And in hockey, the St. Louis Blues finally lost. Their franchise record 12-game win streak snapped by Winnipeg. The Jets beat the Blues 3-1. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. 27 degrees still. It's burr and windy, so hopefully we'll see warm up as we get closer to the end of April. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. A Utica man was arrested on assault charges for hitting a victim with a drinking glass. Utica police say they were called to the 2000 block of Genesee Street on Saturday at around 9 p.m. for an incident. Authorities learned from several parties that there was an argument that broke out between two men. It escalated, and 48-year-old Philip Thomas allegedly picked up a drinking glass and hit the other man with it, causing lacerations. The victim was treated at Wynn Hospital, where Thomas also took himself to treat the cuts to his hands. Thomas was arrested and charged with second-degree assault. The federal government is terminating the visas of 4 more international students at Columbia University. That's according to Columbia Provost Angela Altino, who said the Trump administration didn't notify them and that they only became aware of the terminations through proactive daily checks of federal online systems of foreign-born students' data. This comes after the legal status of several other Columbia students were revoked last month, including pro-Palestinian activists Mahmoud Khalil and Yunseo Chung. No word on whether the latest terminations were tied to protest activity on campus. Altino adds that other students allege they've been targeted for minor infractions like traffic violations. She says they're keeping a close eye on the situation and connected affected students with legal assistance. The state budget is now a week late, and it appears there is no immediate deal in sight. Lawmakers did pass yet another budget extender yesterday that'll allow the state to keep paying its bills through tomorrow. Governor Hochul has said she's in no rush to get a budget done, and much of the debate between herself and the legislator centers on certain policy issues. Once those are worked out, the rest of the budget should be put together quickly. And a gun buyback event is going to be taking place in Syracuse this weekend. It is happening Saturday in the St. Lucy's Church Gymnasium on Gifford Street from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. Amounts being offered for each weapon turned in range from $750 for an assault rifle to $25 for a non-working replica, antique, or 3D printed gun. All weapons must be brought to the drop-off site, unloaded, and placed in the trunk of a vehicle, plastic, paper, or box. Your WIBX news time is 7:07. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Should be surprised by the snow showers. Some getting accumulating snowfall. Maybe a little slick on the roadways this morning. It's cold, it's breezy to windy at times, and even a wind advisory. Some of our northern counties, once again, winter weather advisories for inches of accumulating snowfall. We have snow on the ground here this morning, but additional accumulations less than half an inch, near 30. That's it this afternoon with the gusty winds making it feel colder. Some snow showers tonight and tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik at the Weather Channel on WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
27 degrees and windy. We are under wind advisory until 3:30 p.m. Now let's take a look at sports. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, Florida is back on top of the men's college basketball world. The team rallied to a 12-point deficit to take down Houston 65-63 in the national championship. Will Richard netted 18 points for the Gators, who secured their first title since winning back-to-back champs in 2006 and 7. LJ Cryer scored 19 points for the Cougars, who finished the season 35-5. But still have yet to win a national championship. According to ESPN, Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter had breakfast with Giants head coach Brian Daboll on Sunday and is scheduled to have a top 30 visit on Thursday. The first round of the NFL draft is April 24th, and the G-Men have the 3rd overall pick. The Jets began their voluntary offseason program on Monday. New York is one of the 7 teams getting a jump start on the offseason program after hiring Aaron Glenn as its new head coach. The rest of the league is eligible to begin programs on April 21st. The Rangers dropped back-to-back games after falling to the Tampa Bay Lightning 55-1. New York remains 6 points shy of the final East wildcard spot with 5 games remaining and will host the Flyers tomorrow night. The Yankees dropped back-to-back games after falling to the Tigers 6-2 in their series opener. Carlos Rodon suffered his second loss of the season after allowing 6 runs, 5 of them earned over 6 innings. The 3-game set continues today. Mets extended their winning streak to 5 games after shutting up the Miami Marlins 2-0 in their series opener. Kodai Senga was credited with the victory after striking out 4 over 5 scoreless frames. The series continues this afternoon. Television sports personality Stephen A. Smith says he's leaving all doors open in regards to a presidential bid. Smith said in a post on X that his life is great and he hates the thought of being a politician, but he's, quote, sick of this mess. He's been critical of both sides at times, both pushing the Democratic Party to refocus on key issues for voters, as well as going after the GOP for entertaining the idea of a third Trump term. And if you've seen the video, It's brutal. The Marlins are going to be without one of their starting outfielders for a while. Seattle placed Victor Robles on a 10-day injured list due to a dislocated left shoulder. Now, Davey and I both believe it's going to be a lot longer than 10 days. Robles was injured while making a catch and colliding with an outfield wall, and the team's loss to the San Francisco Giants on Sunday. The team recalled outfielder Dominic Canzone from AAA Tacoma in a corresponding move. And let's talk about the March Madness, Davey, because you won the bracket.
Yes, I did, but not the office one. I didn't get into that
I know.
one.
If wishes were horses, if you could go back in time. So maybe next year. Now you've learned your lesson.
I usually don't win on anything, but I just did my own bracket for giggles, and I ended up picking the two teams, Houston and Florida, in the championship, and picking Florida to win it.
And also, you predicted that Duke would have the upset and that they wouldn't make it into the Final Four, and you were correct on that as well, which a lot of people were betting on Duke.
Yeah, with Cooper. Yeah, you're right.
So you did a good job, but you know what? It's now that you said that, it sounds like a little bit of Murphy's Law. The one time you didn't participate in a contest was the one time you would have won.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? You still won. You still got your own. All right. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:11. I'm Megan Stone.
Celebrate AmeriQ Credit Union's 75th anniversary with an extra 0.75% off your auto and rec loans. Apply today at ameriq.org/loan sale.
Don't miss Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event. We're giving you the best deals of the season on all of our inventory. Thousands of used and new equipment in stock, all in one location. Get 0% financing on new Ferris commercial mowers, Massey Ferguson, and New Holland equipment. And trailers and used equipment as low as 5.49%. Restrictions apply. We're giving you the best deals of the season. It's Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
It's tax season. By now, we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number, $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed. Save up to 40% in your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. That's LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
This April, step into a world of luxury, elegance, and dazzling beauty.
Be dazzled.
Join us and be dazzled. An unforgettable evening of glistening jewels, sparkling cocktails, and spectacular entertainment. April 12th at Vernon Downs Casino Hotel. Immerse yourself in a breathtaking atmosphere.
Be dazzled.
Inspired by Diamonds and Ice, experience a night like no other. Enjoy world-class cuisine, live performances, and a chance to dance the night away where the magic sparkles like diamonds and the night glistens with icy elegance. This is the Gala of the Year. Tickets are limited, so get yours now.
Be dazzled.
Where every moment sparkles like diamonds and ice. April 12th at Vernon Downs Casino Hotel. Visit neighborhoodctr.org for tickets. Brought to you by the Flemmer Group at Baird, Murphy Excavating, and C&D Advertising.
Hey, Central New York, this is Will Kane of The Will Kane Show, and you can now hear my show every weekday at WIBX. I do things a little differently when I'm behind the microphone because I turn it over to the listeners to learn and really dig into the issues that impact everyday Americans. The Will Kane Show lets you keep ahead of the headlines and understand what's really going on in the world with in-depth discussions from leading experts and the brightest minds. From politics to sports, nothing is off topic. Listen to The Will Kane Show weekdays at 6, only on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Hey, I want to tell you and welcome a new sponsor to our program, the Good Feet Store, which is located at 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford. Davey, you know exactly where that is. 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford.
Yeah, it's over there across from where the former Kmart Bill.
Yes, over in that area.
Right next to the vitamin shop there or whatever.
The
workout place, I think.
The Good Feet Store. People of all ages can experience any level. You can tell I'm always going towards the things that are involving back or neck or shoulder pain, The Good Feet store is for people who are experiencing just that. And a lot of times, the pain that you may have may be coming from foot issues. At the Good Feet store, they know that foot pain impedes everyday life. And they invite people to come in, and their trusted team of arch support specialists transform lives every single day, bringing hope to those who have exhausted all options when it comes to a pain-free future. Good Feet premium arch supports are personalized and fit each individual differently, and it's probably the smartest investment you'll ever make, because after a period of time, your pain very well might go away. As the premier arch support specialist, the Good Feet store enhances your quality of life. There's a free, no-obligation, personalized fitting. They're key to the company's value proposition. Unlike alternative solutions, Good Feet arch supports may be tried on and tested for comfort prior to purchase. There's a free fitting and a test walk. No appointment is needed. You can just walk in. So if you're having that pain that is in the knee, the hip, the back, sometimes that pain can lead to the deterioration of those joints, and who knows what could happen after that. You may be able to step in and prevent it from happening with their 3-step system. Good Feet arch supports are made in the USA, consist of 100% U.S. origin materials with a lifetime warranty. Features a 3-step system which includes strengtheners, maintainers, and relaxers. 3 categories of arch supports with varying levels of strength and support that work together to improve and maintain proper foot alignment by exercising and strengthening muscles, tendons, and ligaments of the feet. So the pain could go away, and you're just simply changing the way you walk every day. It's the Good Feet store. Reach out to them today, 315-999-3910, or visit them at 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford. Mike is in Schuyler. Good morning, Michael. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey,
good
morning.
Yes. I wanted to comment. Yesterday when you guys were talking, the guy on the radio, and you were talking about like the torpedo bats and how people, it might change. The records were broken and stuff, and they might look at that. And the thing is, there's always things evolving, right? So even think back to like when Roger Maris broke the home run record. You know, there was always skepticism then because, well, he had 9 extra games. Because remember, there used to be 152 games, and then there's 9 more. So if he breaks it, you know, there's always the asterisks and stuff like that.
Here's another one. Big Honey says Wayne Gretzky, almost half of his career and goals came using just a regular, basic wooden stick. So
right. And it doesn't take things away. Things change. And the funny thing is, now think about this. One of the records they say will never be broken is when DiMaggio had the 56-game hitting streak. Right. That's been standing longer than everything. Now, if it is broken, looking ahead, say with the torpedo bats, everyone starts using it, they get used to it, and say it gets broken, right? But the thing is, when DiMaggio had that record, there was no middle relief. It was all starting pitchers. You know, even back then, it was easier to.
This is really what we were talking about yesterday. How it is very difficult to compare a record of today to a record of 60 years ago because the game of baseball has changed so much, and you really see that in football as well. I mean, it's a completely it's a different world. You want to pipe in on this?
And also records are still being looked at because they included now Negro League records in 2023, I believe. And so a lot of standing records from back in the day, the Negro League, a lot of it was word of mouth and not officially documented. So they're still trying to figure out who holds these records.
And how do you compare that league to Major League Baseball when they should have been merged, but they weren't? It's hard to do that. Now, I don't know if you noticed, Mike, but since Pete Alonso has switched to the torpedo bat, he has been hitting the heck out of the ball. Have you noticed that?
Oh, see, so he's adjusted well to it, right? And
actually, whoa, wait a minute. He's not using the torpedo bat. He's just hitting the ball.
He's like Judge.
Nor is Judge. Same thing, right?
That's right.
He's not using it. So I think that that start where maybe it combined, that first weekend. I just feel like some bad pitching in there, and some opening weekend jitters. Yeah. So
yeah, I think they still need more time because they still got to, even though they have off to a good start, they still got to get used to it.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking, too, eventually the bats will get modified because, a lot of times the pitchers, they can see the torpedo bat, right? So they can see, okay, this one has one of those specialized ones. And they might adjust. But then they might make the bats all black where you can't see that. You never know. There could be changes done to those bats. There's always, on both sides, there's always things that are changing and stuff.
There's a big bat. Some people use the Adirondack bat, which is up there in Dollarville, right nearby here. So pretty wild.
Oh, one last thing I wanted to tell you.
Okay.
I know you were watching Severance, right?
We're early in Severance, but we have been watching it.
The funny thing is, now you remember the movie Conversation? Gene Hackman?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been getting this because Gene Hackman passed away. So I'm watching some of the older movies I haven't seen, and I'm watching it. I'm thinking, in the beginning, I don't know if you remember, there's some piano, and it sounds like the piano from Severance. And I'm thinking, is it the same? And I go on web, I do a search of Conversation, and would you believe 3 months ago people were comparing that? It is similar. It's very similar. And during one, and of course, the piano music I'm talking about.
So you're just watching, because it is odd that you would catch this. I mean, I don't think there are many people listening right now who are like, oh, I just noticed that the piano in that Gene Hackman movie, similar to Severance. I don't think but I do think though that you heard it and it reminded you of Severance.
Right.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I'm not the only one
sense.
saying it because as soon as I go on web, I do a search of Conversation of Severance. There's people all talking about it. It's not the same, but there's a very similar. Now, funny thing is during the Yankee game when they lost against the Pirates and they took the umpires had the call, they had the crew chief.
Yeah.
They were playing the Severance. They were actually playing that piano when they were waiting.
Do you did you watch White Lotus?
I did not. I know you told me about that.
Yeah.
I've not seen that one yet.
Well, the finale.
You watched the Woodstock documentary.
The finale was of White Lotus was Sunday night. Did you watch it? No. No. You have no. You're muted. Sorry. Yeah. Chances are you could talk. We might hear you in the background, like way in the back. Nobody with White Lotus?
I'm saving it.
This season was a really difficult season with White Lotus.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of bad press.
It started out really slow, and then it got crazy. And I felt like the finale was it was okay. So I wonder if there'll be another White Lotus, but that probably is worth putting on your list, Mike, and watching.
I will. We did watch the finale of 1923.
How was that?
That was great. That show was great with Harrison Ford and But yeah, we just watched that this weekend. That was really good.
Interesting. We have not gotten into that yet. What was the original one? Yellowstone was one we couldn't miss, and then it that whole breakup situation.
1888. I think it was another generation before too.
Yeah,
Sam Elliott was in that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a really good show.
All right, good stuff. Maybe I'll check that out too, Mike. Thank you.
Sounds good.
All right, you have a wonderful day. Thanks, Mike.
You too.
Mike and Skyler, who is loves his media and is a big Apple fan, which I really like. But don't know if but White Lotus was one of those. Boy, you just.
Well, it helped revive Jennifer Coolidge's career because she's been came back.
But she was in the first. I believe she was in the first season, and then I don't think in the second. But she's referenced in. I don't want to get into it in this latest season. So it brings me to The Box. So I've heard so many people talking about The Box, and you can get You plug, and we had somebody on a while back. Are these legal? These are TV boxes that allow you to get everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say everything, it's everything.
Everything.
And they say it is that they're legal because they stream, and they're a little bit on the late side. Mm. They're a little bit on it's delayed, so maybe like 90 seconds or something. But you can get on these boxes. Obviously, you can get all the movies. There's HBO and there's Showtime and there's Cinemax and there's all of that stuff. Yeah. All the things you would normally get on your cable. But then on top of it, you can get every TV station in America.
That's
and
a deal.
that includes, you say, are you familiar with what we're talking about?
Yes, because I wanted to watch the news in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
That's exactly what
and
you
that's
can
what
do.
I did. I watched the local news in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
So if you have the box and you're in Florida, you could watch Channel 2 or Channel 20 from up here. You could watch, my friends are in Hawaii. I'm going to watch the Hawaiian news. Yep, you could do that.
That's awesome.
Oh, I missed Lester Holt. I want to watch that. It's now 7:30. All right, we'll go back an hour and find a city that's an hour behind and pick up the nightly news right there. It's crazy.
But it also has Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu.
Well, you can add your Netflix account to it, from what I understand, and
you don't have to. It does it by show. There's
by
channels.
show, right?
And it doesn't bar you for one household. It allows you.
Yeah.
Well, you would need a different box for every TV.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
So
but
if you
one
have
box.
5 TVs in your house, you need 5 different boxes.
Right. But with one box, you can watch Netflix.
It is the one thing everybody's talking about. Even you, Davey, doing a lot of talking about it. But, you snooze, you lose. Just talking alone won't get you anywhere.
But a recent study said, it was not a study, it was Money Market, I believe, that found that streaming has now eclipsed the cost of cable. So that box is a definite solution because
you
think
have to
about
buy
it.
so many different
And they
platforms.
keep jacking up the prices.
Yeah, it's because there's so many
Well,
different
the box completely changes the game.
I hope it continues
Because
to
the
change
box
the game.
is a one-time payment, and there
And you're
is no
done.
subscription.
But you just have to have a strong internet connection. That's the most important.
All right. So you're the expert on this. You know your stuff.
Yes, I do know my stuff, Bill.
All right.
Bill, I went to college, Bill.
You
I went
did.
to the
You-
University
you-
of Connecticut.
You
Bill.
did, yeah. Davey?
Yeah.
Do you need a smart TV for them boxes?
No.
Okay.
No, because your box becomes the smartness of
You
the
just
TV.
need HDMI, right?
You just need an
Just the
HDMI
HDMI
connection.
cord.
Yeah.
right.
And they're ranging from like 220 to
280,
3. Even you can buy them. And here's the other thing: are they legal? You can buy it at. You can buy one over at
Walmart had them.
Walmart on Amazon, so they are legal.
Yes.
However, if you get in, there's some things from what I'm told from an expert, there are some things you shouldn't watch, and I'm not talking about porn. So, for instance,
That's what the internet is
if
for.
if on a Sunday morning you turn it on and you look, and there you have the entire NFL package sitting right before your eyes, don't watch that, because that in itself, they say, may be not legal.
Oh.
But I mean, if you did watch it, I don't know if anybody's going to come after you.
What's going to happen? The FBI is going to be knocking at your door and seizing your box?
You look perplexed.
I am very confused, yes.
Why would you be confused?
Because there's no way to track it. How could they track it?
Don't you realize I'm talking in code? Do
No,
I have to
I
come
don't,
on and
Bill.
spell it out for you?
I went to college, Bill.
That's the
I
problem.
don't know.
You went to Yukon. That's
I went
your
to
problem.
Yukon. I don't know.
I'm going to defend Yukon, Bill. You
What
know,
I am
2
saying,
against 1.
what I'm saying is, there is watching copyrighted content.
Oh, right.
Is not legal.
Because they put the disclaimer before the
It
each game.
is
You're
not
right.
legal.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Just telling you, these are crazy. Not that I've ever seen one. Or a
No,
couple.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I'm going to tell you, crazy, crazy, crazy. All right. I want to switch gears right now. There is a Democrat in Illinois who has proposed some legislation. It's pushing a bill that would legalize attacks on police if, and this is very important, if the person has a mental health episode. Now, I do think we need to be better in terms of, and let's just go right to the expert and not listen to me. The expert is Joe Cardinale, retired NYPD Lieutenant Commander. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, everybody.
So here's what I would like to say about this in advance, and then we'll get into the whole topic thing. But I do think we need to do a better job in police. We need to do a better job of dealing with people who are challenged in some way. For instance, sometimes you may have someone who has give me a condition that they're
schizophrenia,
PTSD.
But they have a situation where they cannot communicate, and the officer says, "Get out of the car," and the person freezes and panics, and then all of a sudden it goes bad. I think that police agencies around the country are doing a really good job of training police officers to recognize a mental health issue. However, with that said, that I would think is much different than someone who's having an episode and they kill a cop or they injure a police officer or injure anyone. And by this, I have to say, I really kind of feel like anyone who does some of these heinous things, these terrible crimes, probably has a mental health issue. So how do we? I guess I threw a lot at you, Lieutenant. What do you think?
Well, you're right. You know, these individuals that have these episodes, sometimes it's bona fide, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's drug related. You don't know.
Oh, that's another issue, right?
Yes.
Right, and you don't know until you get to the scene. But let's take the source of where this is coming from. This is Lisa Davis. She's an attorney in the Cook County Public Defender's Office, right? And she's the one that proposed this bill and wrote it up specifically for peace officers. Now, firefighters deal with this as well when they have to respond to some of these incidents, but they're spared from this because, once again, her husband is a firefighter, so they're spared from this.
Okay.
Right? So it's not just. So when you go to these scenes, and I can tell you firsthand that family disputes, people with mental episodes, as they describe them, are very dangerous. Especially, you just mentioned the key one, which is car stops. Right? You don't know what you're dealing with.
You
there.
don't know.
But,
no.
You know, they define a mental episode as a mental disorder characterized by a disconnection from reality. In today's political climate, that could be anybody who hates the president and is protesting.
Listen, it could be anybody right now. Yes.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's just making the public defender's job easier to have an out for anybody they defend who assaults a police officer. And this is aggravated battery, they use the term, which is against the police officer. So why are the cops constantly the litmus test for things that they want to do in society instead of addressing the mental illness issue that we have in this country, especially you see it in New York City, all right, addressing it the way it should be addressed by getting these individuals off the streets into a facility where they can either get their medication or have their disorders addressed.
And which is why, you know, there's the cell phone program in New York State, which we all criticize. Like, I cannot believe they're giving all these people cell phones. One of the reasons why was in order to stay in touch with their doctor so they stayed on their medication. Oftentimes, the crimes that we see happening New York City is a great example. Some guy walks up to just an innocent person and just pounds him in the face and starts punching him. For what reason? I don't know. The person was having an episode. I think we can all agree that person has to face a consequence for doing that to that person.
Or one better, the people who are pushing those onto the MTA tracks.
That is even more horrific.
Because they're all saying it's mental health.
Shouldn't we though, and it probably is, if you can push somebody at random into a subway train, chances are you're mentally messed up. But Joe, what I know this is a crazy concept, but I'm going to throw it out there. Why not leave this to the courts to iron out?
It should be.
Right.
You know, the courts, but then again, they don't have the capacity with everything else that's going on. Now, let's look at, you want to hear something? And we discussed this before. How about the bail reform? If you do get somebody to court and they don't fit the criteria for that, you can't even hold them.
Right.
All right.
I know.
So the courts have to have a special section for this where they are remanded to a facility to get addressed by professionals. Now, on the NYPD, we took a course, called emergency psychological training. All right, it's for the patrol cops that were going out there, coming across incidents, how to diffuse a situation for somebody that may be having that. But today, it's compounded by drugs that hallucinogenic drugs that really put everybody at risk.
Yes.
And when the cops have to take action, and sometimes it is, deadly physical force because that person has a knife, a sword, or something like that. You don't have the time to negotiate these things. It's a spur-of-the-moment type of thing, but they're giving the individuals a defense before they are even analyzed.
Yeah. Well, I do think that this is, I'm going on a limb, but in Illinois, can you please tell us this probably is going to go nowhere?
Yeah, hopefully it goes to the land of the misfit bills. That goes over there.
Because I got to tell you, some of the legislation that gets proposed, out of the boroughs in Manhattan by some of these far left Democrats are nuts.
So almost like political grandstanding, you think?
However, you no longer have a Republican Senate to kind of be the watchdog over these things in New York.
You're right, and it is that faction in New York City that controls a lot of these things. And the newest thing, as we know, is the car stops. They want to do stop low-level car stops that cops can't even do it, which is the most ridiculous thing you can ever propose. But you know what it is? I don't know what they do up in the assembly, but I think they just sit there and they have a grand old time coming up with inane bills that really shouldn't even be proposed.
I know.
And I think when you have that leeway, when you have a democratically controlled Senate and House and governor, you can do anything you want and pass anything you want.
Well, Joe, whoa. You can do anything you want except pass a budget on time.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They'll never
Shots
pass
fired.
the budget on time.
That's right.
But
they
make.
I see your
point.
point.
They're making the cops the litmus test for everything,
Yeah.
Well, and again, I think in this case, we should leave it to the courts to iron out because every case is different. And there are those cases where there may be a case where someone has a condition, a terrible meltdown of some sort that would be considered in the court. But to have a law that is carte blanche, this is it, the line is drawn, that just ties the hands of police, it ties the hands of the DAs, of the court system. It just seems to not make any sense.
No, you're right. And the good thing here is if you do get it to the courts, then a professional can address whether this is a bona fide episode or if it was something that was drug related, which now they already in custody. Now you say, nope, we analyze you. You're going to suffer the consequences that way. But once again, with the system the way it's set up, they're going to get out one way or the other.
Talking to
we need to have these facilities, though.
No doubt. Former NYPD Lieutenant Commander Joe Cardinale, and we always appreciate you've been there on the ground. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you.
Anytime, my friends. You take care.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, we're going to bypass. Yes. Coming up, we'll speak with Mark DePerno from Citron on the Celebrity Classic Wheelchair Basketball, which is starting. This happens on Thursday. Going to be awesome. And some great players from SU will be there, and others. We'll get to that coming up. Right now, though, Davey, you said $150 on Hobica's free money question of the day.
You're dribbling down the court. You got 3 wheelchair people against you, and you're going to dish one off to Donnie Freeman or J.J. Starling. Who would you assist to?
Listen, the tall one. Okay.
Donnie Freeman.
Yeah, because you just love getting them the ball because although I've played in this thing for several years in a row, about 10 years, 11, 12 years now.
Wow.
And it is watching the All-Stars, and we'll talk about this coming up, who play in wheelchairs every single day, watching
Amazing.
their ability to maneuver and move around the court is just incredible. And then watching the rest of us is also incredible, but for a very different reason. All right, Hobica's free money question. What do we... $150. You're looking for caller number
5.
5th caller right now, 315-736-0186. Caller 5, your chance to win right now at WIBX.
Clearing out your home or commercial building, John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation will handle it for you. We handle residential or any size commercial property, before and after estate sale cleanouts or any junk removal service. John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation is a 5-star rated and background checked business, providing service you can count on, and we're fully insured in the industry. Call John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation today and take the stress out of your mess.
It's hard to know what to do when you lose a loved one. You need someone you can trust to help you navigate all the options. Mohawk Valley Monuments has been providing comfort and delivering quality memorials in our community for over 95 years. Mohawk Valley Monuments has experience with all the local cemeteries, from simple grave markings to intricate family mausoleums. For personalized service, call us today at 315-724-7629 or visit us at mohawkvalleymonuments.com.
Celebrate AmeriQ Credit Union's 75th anniversary with an extra 0.75% off your auto and rec loans. Apply today at ameriq.org/loan sale.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
Don't miss Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event. We're giving you the best deals of the season on all of our inventory. Thousands of used and new equipment in stock, all in one location. Get 0% financing on new Ferris commercial mowers, Massey Ferguson, and New Holland equipment. And trailers and used equipment as low as 5.49%. Restrictions apply. We're giving you the best deals of the season. It's Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
All right. Time to do Hobica's free money question of the day. The Hobica Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobica, for all of your legal needs. Call 315-724-1600. Every day at this time, we give somebody an opportunity to walk away winner. And on the line right now is Dale in Utica. Hello, Dale. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing, Dale?
Not bad. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Okay, we're going to throw a question at you. You'll have 7 seconds to answer. You know the rules. Get that question out there and make sure you get an answer in before the 7 seconds is up. All right?
All right.
All right. Here is your question. Megan, you ready to go over
I
that?
am ready.
Here is your question. The Utica Curling Club is an awesome place for competition, camaraderie, and fun. Now tell me, which country in the world created curling? Ready, go.
Ooh. China.
Okay, China creates everything, but I would bet you, what do they call the things that the rock, right? I wonder if today the rock in curling is made in China. If so,
most likely.
They're about to become more expensive. The answer, I would have said an easy answer would have been Canada.
Yeah.
But that's not true. Curling was invented in Scotland. Yeah, it's Scottish.
You know what?
Yep.
It makes sense because they also invented golf.
Mark DePerno, you knew the answer right there.
Been involved with curling since 2001.
It's a great, not only, it's just a cool place to be and to be a part of all of that. So.
100%. Utica Curling Club, great history. The third oldest club in the country.
Is it really? That's wild.
How old is the club?
1863, I believe.
Wow.
Dale, I'm going to give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It's a $25 gift card. Good at Babes or Nexus, the Adirondack Bank Center, Taylor and the Cook, Aquavino, and the list goes on. So stand by and have a great day, Dale.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Curling invented in Scotland.
It's Oot in a Boot.
In studio right now is Mark DePerno. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
Morning.
So are you a regular? Do you compete in the tournaments? And don't they have a big international tournament that comes here every year?
They do. They have many. The Mitchell comes to mind, the Kaiser. I am not an active participant. I've been involved with wheelchair curling since 2001. So I travel the country with some of the national team members, help with training, etc.
Who train here and compete worldwide.
That's right. We've had multiple Paralympians, world championship participants, Jimmy Joseph, Bob Prenovo, and others come to mind.
Pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome. And it all comes back to the Citron Stars program, which helps local athletes with disabilities participate in sports such as curling, such as the Boilermaker, marathons, target shooting, archery, etc. It's an opportunity to participate in sport with support from Citron, from our community, from you as well, Bill, and many others. And this event we're going to chat about helps raise the dollars for just that.
So just for a moment, you watch all of us and the members of the media and the community and law enforcement and political figures in the area all getting in there. And even though we've done this, like I think I'm coming up on my, 12th, 13th year doing this. But even though we do it year after year, watching the Citron Stars just roll circles around us as, we're flubbing up and possibly even, in my case, falling to the floor. It's incredible.
It is. And part of the event is just raising the awareness, the ability of all of us. Maybe there's a loss of limb, a spinal cord injury, a traumatic illness or injury that happened at some point in life. Regardless, we look at the ability of everybody. Basketball is one of those venues where we see that exposed against yourself and other celebrities, where these athletes are throwing three-pointers, behind the back passes, etc. And why not? We all should have the opportunity.
Okay, so if you've not been, and Davey, you go every year. If you've not been, I'll tell you that the gym at Utica University is packed. There's cheering, and there's pomp and circumstance. There's always the great national anthem. But watching again back to the Citron Stars, this is like the Super Bowl. Right, the local version for them of the. They love this because they are in the spotlight.
It's a time to shine. You're absolutely right. There's very few opportunities in life where we have that exposure in front of our community. And while the Boilermaker offers the wheelchair division and other events do just that, this truly is the showcase, the centerpiece for athletes with disabilities. And it's not just basketball. We just showcase basketball in this particular evening. But we have athletes that are going to be engaging. Believe it or not, we have two of our top athletes, which you would recognize the names. They're going to be down in Carolina for the National Wheelchair Basketball Tournament at the same time as our game, which is unfortunate for us, but fantastic for them. And again, this event helps raise the dollars to support those endeavors.
And then one more element of this, and then we'll talk about the whole thing, but 21st annual. Wow. One more, and that is, it's one thing to see them wheel circles around us, but they also do it with NCAA basketball players. And it's incredible. And I think they become unbelievably impressed at how hard it is to get in that wheelchair and do this, and then to watch how good these guys and women are.
You bet. It's a humbling experience. You're talking about the Syracuse men's basketball team, which has had representation from the beginning, starting with the late, great Pearl Washington through Jerry McNamara, Lawrence Moten, and up to today, J.J. Starling, Donnie Freeman, and others. For the first time, typically getting into a wheelchair and understanding, how do I move the chair? How do I dribble? How do I shoot? Totally different skill set, and that's why they struggle.
And this year, adding, because the world has added women's sports as something that is a hot commodity, and adding the Syracuse women's basketball team.
Very excited to have that representation. 5 ladies from the SU women's basketball team. Kira Scott, Shai Hawkins, Journey Thompson, Olivia Schmidt, and Angelica Velez will be playing in wheelchairs, along with JJ and Donnie, yourself, and many other local celebrities.
Okay, what do people have to do?
Well, you can go to citron.com. You'll find ticket information, which is $10 for adults, $5 for students, free for kids under the age of 5. You can buy tickets at the door if you prefer. Door is opening at 6 p.m. It's this Thursday the 10th. Game starts at 6:30. There is also a chance for spectators to engage in a 3-point competition against J.J. Starling and one member of the SU women's basketball team during halftime. So opportunity for the photographs, the autographs. Get in there, have a blast, learn something, and help raise money for a great cause.
Who was Davey? Was it last year or the year before? The player that was you would know too, Mark, from Syracuse, who was the tallest player Syracuse has had in years.
Pascal Chukwu.
How tall was he?
7'4".
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So just giving you an idea, the photo of me and him.
Oh, I saw that photo.
Yeah.
We need to find that.
It becomes very difficult for a photographer to get that picture. It's not easy to get that picture.
A wide lens.
It is a wide lens. Okay, so you can get tickets at the door, and talk about just some of the programs that you guys do over there, and how it's played such a huge role in the fact that we really have spent the last 30 years at war in one way or another around the world, and it's sent a lot of people home with some form of disability.
You're right, Bill. You're referencing many veterans who have come back to our area and across the globe, for that matter, with injuries, illnesses, disabilities, and that sport has been a venue and opportunity to kind of get back that quality of life that they so deserve. And outside of the veterans and the military connection, general civilian population, some born with congenital defects, some experience traumatic injuries, Jimmy Joseph, loss of limb, Herman Garrick, spinal cord injury. There are so many local individuals that have had opportunity to participate in sport, target shooting, kayak canoe, downhill skiing, curling, of course, the Boilermaker and other road races. These are opportunities that through Citron and other across upstate New York, but it's so expensive. These wheelchairs are over $5,000 each, so these dollars...
How many of these athletes from here have had to do the Boilermaker in a regular wheelchair?
Everyone.
Yeah, that's where they start. And they, hopefully they get to that point where enough money can be raised, because they are expensive.
Yeah, and the Wheelchair Challenge, again, sponsored through Citron. And to anybody out there listening, if you know or want to be involved in the Wheelchair Challenge at this year's Boilermaker, if you complete the race in under 2 hours and 15 minutes while using your manual everyday wheelchair, Citron will award you a custom-made racing wheelchair valued at over $5,000.
And last year, the person who competed, he beat that time. He shattered it, didn't he?
100%.
Yeah.
Beat it by maybe 35 minutes.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that was a very inspiring story.
It is inspiring, and the Jimmy Joseph story is and Herman's story. Everyone's story is incredible, but Jimmy's story is amazing. He was a
waste management.
I didn't want to say garbage man, but and there he is behind the garbage truck, and someone plowed into the back and severing his legs.
Yeah, actually, he just had that anniversary, if you will, just over about 33 years ago, I believe it was, and lost his legs at the time and went through it.
But his story, he says his life is actually better today than it was before. That what he learned from this and what he's gained from it, that's a pretty amazing story.
Overcoming that kind of challenge, though, that's very inspiring.
And Jimmy has used his experiences to help others in more current situations, where he comes to Citron, goes to local hospitals, and says, listen, I went through something similar. You come out on the other side, you have the community to support you, and sport, again, other opportunities have helped him and others, and we're just very thankful to have this possibility.
Jimmy also has a desensitizing program that he does at the wheelchair basketball every year, and that desensitizing, seeing someone with no legs jump off the wheelchair and start wrestling someone else to the ground is you come to get used to it, but it is, and he's just that type of personality. So
full of energy. He often says, he's half the man he used to be, but he's twice as much energy, which is amazing.
It's unbelievable. All right, again, the details starts at 6:30.
6:30 this Thursday, the 10th. Doors open at 6 p.m. Utica University Clark Athletic Center. $10 for adults, $5 for students. Free for the kids under the age of 5.
Okay. Good stuff. We appreciate it. Appreciate what you do, and get those tickets. Get out there, because it is a hot number, and it loads up the gym at Utica University. Quick break. 7:53 at WIBX.
It's hard to know what to do when you lose a loved one. You need someone you can trust to help you navigate all the options. Mohawk Valley Monuments has been providing comfort and delivering quality memorials in our community for over 95 years. Mohawk Valley Monuments has experience with all the local cemeteries, from simple grave markings to intricate family mausoleums. For personalized service, call us today at 315-724-7629 or visit us at mohawkvalleymonuments.com.
Now at Kubota Orange Days, your local Kubota dealer at White's Farm Supply is delivering the savings you need for the life you love. Join us on Saturday, April 26th at our Waterville location for the exclusive deals on America's favorite compact tractors. We'll help you find the perfect match with special Orange Days financing and savings. Don't miss this chance to save on the Kubota you've always wanted. Only at White's Farm Supply in Waterville on Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
White's Farm Supply.
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
You know what? As long as we are, Davey, as long as we're talking about the 21st annual Citron Celebrity Classic wheelchair basketball game, let us give away a pair of 2 tickets. I'll have them right here. Make a call at number 5 right now, 315-736-0186. 8 pair of tickets for you to take advantage of right now at WIBX. 315-736-0186. Is the phone number. Steve Ponte Mazda New Year, New Mazda sales event is back. I just spoke with Ricky Z yesterday talking about how much I love the CX-90 and the hybrid version. So every day I'm able to drive to work on a charge, and it never, all week long, I don't use any gasoline.
Okay,
and
I'm
it
jealous.
costs me almost nothing to charge it with a regular outlet in my garage.
Wow.
Pretty awesome. That's the hybrid CX-90. There's CX-30, CX-5, CX-50s, 70s. These are hot vehicles on the road. You see them all over the place right now. And their inventory at Mazda, 150 new Mazdas are available on the lot. You can save on a new Mazda lease or enjoy 0.9% APR financing on the new 2025s. And as Rick says, come on in, let's make your deal on a new Mazda from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction. It's Steve Ponte Mazda Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Also want to talk about the Falcon Clinic. If you're in need of a new family doctor, they're accepting patients right now. Dr. Schmemell, Zielinski, others all under one roof at the Falcon Clinic. Whether it's acupuncture you're looking for, an osteopathic adjustment, which this week I will take advantage of, or if you just need a new doctor and you need a second opinion or a new family doctor, call them today. They are accepting new patients right now. Call 315-507-4751, or you can visit them on their website as well. It's the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. We'll give away more of these tickets, by the way.
There we go.
More to be given away.
I do want to take a moment to talk about the CX-90. I had to take my car in for service, and I was given a loaner. I drove the CX-90. You think it's a huge car, but when you drive in it, it feels like a vehicle. It really is a nice car, Bill.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir.
Mm-hmm.
I
want to trade
it.
cars? I have a CX-5.
I'm sure that's a really nice vehicle, but no. But no.
Shot down.
An exciting ending to last night's NCAA tournament. Of course, it went late, and maybe you didn't hear this final call, but Houston was unable to get a basket off.
National championship is in the balance. Florida leads it by 2. 6 seconds, 5 seconds, short. He walked, he can't touch it. He can't. 1 second, and it's over. Florida is back on top of the college basketball world. It's a great day to be a Gator. They win the national title. Houston did not get a shot off. Florida.
And Cully, I'll say to you, that was, for Houston, it was a sloppy end, and they just could not score.
Yeah, and I blame Kelvin Sampson for that. He's their head coach. He's been there before. He should have a play designed to win the game.
Number one, to win the game, but number two, when you really look at that second half, they had many opportunities where Florida went down and didn't score.
Yeah.
And they came right back or stole the ball away and went down and
a lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppiness.
Score. I thought it was a very sloppy ending.
Yeah.
And listen, Florida took advantage of it.
You have to.
And
They did what they were supposed to.
Pretty wild. Great ending to the whole thing. Much to get to coming up next hour, including we'll talk with Ray Derso from the Genesis Group. Coming up here, stand by at WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studios, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Trying to get some lost money back. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A rebound may be in store on Wall Street as markets rise in Asia and Europe. Dow futures are up 1,000 points. More on that in a moment. But first, a celebration in Gator Country. Gainesville, Florida, where they partied late into the night after Florida won the men's college basketball title, beating Houston 65-63.
Our defense won us the game tonight. We got 9 straight stops at one point in the middle of the second half. We held them scoreless the last 2:20.
Florida coach Todd Golden. Houston had the ball at the end with a chance to tie or win, but didn't get a shot off. Now back to the stock market, where that potential rebound comes after the Dow plunged more than 4,000 points the past 3 trading days over concern about new U.S. tariffs. But President Trump is not backing down.
We have an opportunity to change the fabric of our country. We have an opportunity to reset the table on trade.
Now, he's threatening China with an additional 50% tariff if they don't cancel big reciprocal tariffs on American exports. China calls that bullying, vowing to fight till the end. But dozens of other countries are negotiating. And what Israel's prime minister said at the White House is music to the president's ears.
We will eliminate the trade deficit with the United States. We intend to do it very quickly.
Benjamin Netanyahu and the president also discussed Gaza, where Israel keeps battling Hamas.
The war will stop at some point that won't be in the too distant future. Right now we have a problem with hostages. We're trying to get the hostages out.
Now, the president also made news saying the U.S. will hold direct talks with Iran Saturday, trying to rein in the Iranian nuclear program feared to be building weapons. The Supreme Court has lifted a judge's order that blocked more controversial deportations.
In a 5-4 decision, the High Court ruled to permit the use of the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to deport alleged Venezuelan gang members. So President Trump responding to this, saying, quote, the Supreme Court has upheld the rule of law in our nation.
Fox's Brooks Simeon. The court did order those being deported must be allowed to have challenged hearings. America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. A brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
And we mentioned deportations. There's another court challenge as a legal U.S. resident is fighting the Trump administration trying to remove him. Mahmoud Khalil is accused of violating his visa's conditions in his anti-Israel protest last year at Columbia University, with the U.S. alleging that he was sympathetic to Hamas, a terrorist organization. In New York, a family that was detained in an immigration raid last month and sent to Texas is returning.
Authorities haven't given a reason for the release of the woman and her 3 children. Their names have not been made public. They were detained late last month while investigators were making an arrest at a farm in upstate New York as part of an unrelated criminal case. The family's detention getting an outpouring of support, including a demonstration over the weekend that drew hundreds of people to the small town of Sackett's Harbor, where Border Czar Tom Homan has a home and where the children go to school. Homan told a local TV station last week the family was in the country illegally, though advocates say they're in the process of seeking legal status in immigration court. In New York, Lisa Lacera, Fox News.
Tension at the Korean border today. The South's military fired warning shots as North Korean soldiers crossed over the border. Those troops did not return fire. Instead, they just returned to North Korea. As South Korea deals with political turmoil.
South Korea's snap presidential election is set for June 3rd. Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment was confirmed by the country's constitutional court last week, starting the clock on a 60-day deadline. Yoon's conservative People's Power Party is seen by many as facing a battle to hold on to power. The Liberal Democratic Party looking to seize on the damage done by Yoon's botched attempt to impose martial law. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
In Kazakhstan,
3, 2,
a launch A Russian Soyuz taking 2 American astronauts and a cosmonaut to the International Space Station for an 8-month stay. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. It is still 27 degrees, and we're actually going to see a morning dip down to a couple more degrees. So bundle up. It's windy outside. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. A Utica woman was arrested on drug charges. Utica police say they conducted a stop on John Street on Friday night for alleged traffic violations. Police say the operator, 34-year-old Chantel Young, was driving under a suspended driver's license and was placed under arrest. Police say as she was asked to exit the vehicle, she allegedly tossed what appeared to be a baggie onto the passenger side of her car. It later turned out to be cocaine. Authorities also determined the plates of her car were stolen. Young was charged with criminal possession of stolen property in the 5th degree and criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 4th and 7th degree. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand has reintroduced legislation that would designate the Finger Lakes as a national heritage area. NHAs are established by Congress to recognize a region's cultural, natural, or historical significance. Gillibrand believes such a designation would promote tourism, create jobs, and conserve resources. The bill didn't get to President Biden's desk last year, and if approved, there's no word if President Trump would sign it. A new budget has been approved for Ilion, and it goes in effect on June 1st. The village board approved and adopted the over $8.6 million village budget during a board meeting yesterday. Mayor John Stevens addressed the loss of Remington Arms and said the village had to make up the loss of revenue, which he said was difficult. In order to make up the loss, the village turned to grants and additional funding to pad the budget. Because of that, village residents will see a tax increase of less than 1%. Another development that came from the board meeting: the village now has a new fire chief. The board approved Andrew Monahan to helm the fire department. And Herkimer remains under a state of emergency due to a water main break. The break was caused by a landslide which severed a line connecting the village's reservoirs. The village board held a meeting last night to go over options, which included 2 ways to restore service. The first is a quick fix to get water flowing, but officials were unsure how long the patch would last. The second involves constructing a road so crews can transport equipment to make full repairs to the line. Currently, the break is in an area where crews need to be lowered down via a rope in order to access it. The board has decided to pursue cost estimates before proceeding with any plans. Your WIBX news time is 8:07. Here is your full weather forecast.
Should be surprised by the snow showers, some getting accumulating snowfall, maybe a little slick on the roadways this morning. It's cold, it's breezy to windy at times, and even a wind advisory. Some of our northern counties, once again, winter weather advisories for inches of accumulating snowfall. We may have snow on the ground here this morning, but additional accumulations less than half an inch, near 30. That's it this afternoon, with the gusty winds making it feel colder. Some snow showers tonight and tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Still 27 degrees and windy outside. Here's hoping that we'll see better weather in the few coming weeks. Now let's take a look at sports. For the first time in history in 2 decades, Florida is back on top of the men's college basketball world. The team rallied from a 12-point deficit to take down Houston 65-63 in the national championship. Will Richard netted 18 points for the Gators, who secured their first title since winning back-to-back championships in 2006 and 7. LJ Cryer scored 19 points for the Cougars. They finished the season 35-5, but still have never won a national championship. According to ESPN, Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter had breakfast with Giants head coach Brian Daboll on Sunday and is scheduled to have a top 30 visit on Thursday. The first round of the NFL draft is April 24th. The G-men have the 3rd overall pick. The Jets began their voluntary off-season program Monday. New York is one of 7 teams getting a jump start on the off-season program after hiring Aaron Glenn as its new head coach. The rest of the league is eligible to begin programs on April 21st. The Rangers dropped back-to-back games after falling to the Tampa Bay Lightning 5-1. New York remains 6 points shy of the final East wildcard spot with 5 games remaining. They host the Philadelphia Flyers tomorrow night. Yankees also suffered a loss after falling to the Tigers 6-2 in their series opener. Carlos Rodon suffered his second loss of the season after allowing 6 runs, 5 of them earned over 6 innings. The 3-game set continues today. The Mets extended their winning streak to 5 games after shutting out Miami Marlins 2-0 in their series opener. From Queens, Kodai Senga credited with the victory after striking out 4 over 5 scoreless frames. The series continues this afternoon. Television sports personality Stephen A. Smith says he is leaving all doors open in regards to a presidential bid. Smith said in a post on X that life was great and he hates the thought of being a politician, but he's, quote, sick of this mess. He's been critical of both sides, pushing Democrats to refocus on key issues and going after the GOP for entertaining Trump hitting a 3rd term. And the Mariners, this is a video that, it makes you cringe. The Mariners are going to be without one of their starting outfielders for a while. Seattle has placed Victor Robles on a 10-day injured list due to a dislocated left shoulder. It's likely he could stay out even longer than that, though. Robles was injured while making a catch and colliding with the outfield wall in the team's loss to the San Francisco Giants on Sunday. The team also recalled Dominic Canzone from AAA Tacoma in a corresponding move. Your WIBX news time is 8:10. I'm Megan Stone.
So, New York Sash, I want to talk about something that is really important. It's the comfort that you have in your home and the amazing job that the people at New York Sash do when it comes to installing, whether it's doors, entry doors, windows, siding in your home. Their bathroom replacement is fast, just a couple of days, and incredible. And right now they have a $99 window sale going on at New York Sash. Just call and take advantage of it. Their installers are the best. They never use independent contractors. They always these are employees who have been trained. They now know how to install these products into your home. So if you're thinking about upgrading your home, trust the experts at New York Sash. I believe I was on their TV show over the weekend with windows installed in our home. The showroom is on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro. See for yourself why so many are choosing New York Sash. They treat you well. You'll get a beautiful worry-free remodel, one you love that will save you money on your energy bill. And those windows are perfect for upstate New York weather, and that includes winter and the summer. We'll break and come right back, talk about, with Ray Derso, talk about some of the upcoming events that include National Teacher Appreciation Week and how they celebrate that coming up here at WIBX.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Celebrate AmeriQ Credit Union's 75th anniversary with an extra 0.75% off your new or used auto, motorcycle, boat, or recreational vehicle loan. Offer valid for a limited time. Apply today at ameriq.org/loan sale.
Mattress Express's closeout sale on brand new leftover inventory and floor models. Right now, buy a king or queen and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans available as well.
It's tax season. By now, we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number, $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed. Save up to 40% in your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. That's LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Before there was social media, streaming, and even color television, there was radio. Remember the golden days when you had to tune in to hear what happened to Hopalong Cassidy, or perhaps the Green Hornet? What if you could relive those days again? Hi, I'm Greg Bell, the host of When Radio Was, a show that's dedicated to the very best of radio's golden age. From classic performances by Jack Benny to tales of terror on Lights Out. It's all here on When Radio Was, starting every Sunday at 11 p.m., only on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Which classic broadcast will you hear next?
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, I want to tell you the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. And I have to say they have a brand new breakfast sandwich that if you've not tried it yet, you are definitely missing out. It's the egg white frittata made with egg white, spinach, tomato, and feta cheese. I love it on a croissant, and it is just melts in your mouth delicious. Have it on a bagel, an English muffin. You make the choice. It's Daylight Donuts with the best coffee and a speedy drive-through. You're in, you're out, you're on your way. Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford. And in studio right now is Ray Derso. Ray, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Ray is not just a guest, but I don't want to say employee, a contributor.
Guest host.
Guest host.
So today I'm a guest. Tomorrow I'll be here to hosting.
This week in the Mohawk
It's weird.
Valley.
I haven't been in this chair in a while. Usually sit over here.
Which, do you want to switch?
No, I'm good.
We can make him move.
You got to switch it up once in a while. Keep you on your toes.
We can make him
It's
move.
an honor to be a part of this team. That's the way I look at it.
We love having you, Ray. And you can listen to This Week in the Mohawk Valley every Sunday at 8. 9. Oh, sorry.
Well, you can start at 8 to make sure you don't miss it at 9.
I'm on daylight saving time.
Standard's philosophy of the whole home approach is to diagnose the root cause of why you're uncomfortable and provide a customized solution that's permanent.
We want to take a look at the whole house, finding the right solution for you, and bringing in a whole team of people who are going to help identify rebates and programs. And those are not just for low-income homeowners. These programs are available for anybody that's looking to upgrade their system now.
Learn more at standardco.com. Call Standard today at 800-738-1424.
Now at Kubota Orange Days, your local Kubota dealer at White's Farm Supply is delivering the savings you need for the life you love. Join us on Saturday, April 26th at our Waterville location for the exclusive deals on America's favorite compact tractors. We'll help you find the perfect match with special Orange Days financing and savings. Don't miss this chance to save on the Kubota you've always wanted. Only at White's Farm Supply in Waterville on Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
White's Farm Supply.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
It's tax season. By now, we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number, $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed. Save up to 40% in your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit lifelock.com. That's lifelock.com, promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, I don't know why that happened, but here we are in studio right now. Where were we? Were we introducing you, Ray? I think we were. Ray Derso is in studio right now, who is, as I said before, not only is a guest here today, but you do your own show this week in the Mohawk Valley,
Yes.
which really allows you to help, I think, carry on your mission with the Genesis Group.
The tasks are aligned as what I do. For 25 years, I have served as the president and CEO of the Genesis Group, and this allows me to not only talk about what I do, but bring other people in and talk about what they're doing in the community as well.
So 25 years. What do you? So it's been 25 years.
25
Wow.
years. Yeah, and it's amazing.
Do you have anything that is your favorite part of that 25 years?
What we're doing right now is being with other people, talking about the community.
Yeah.
I really like being out and about. One day I could be in Old Forge, the next day Cooperstown, Little Falls,
You're a
or
busy
Rome,
man.
and I just enjoy being out there and working.
Well, and
with
that's the
people.
thing. This is not Oneida County only. You go beyond
Region.
Oneida County.
Yep, four counties: Madison, Oneida,
Mm-hmm.
Otsego, and Herkimer County. So I enjoy that part.
It kind of feels like it's really our metro area, if you will.
It is.
So, yet when New York State looks at us, they separate us when for instance, our congressional district separated.
Yes.
But we are one really four county metro area.
Yep.
25 years. I would think one of the great things, you're always coordinating. When the state's coming in to make a big announcement, you always get tagged with helping coordinate.
We are one of the regional representatives. So when the governor or lieutenant governor, and this has been for like the past 20 years, or any significant official is coming into the area, they ask us to help. And there are other organizations, but we are part of a team that gets the word out and to try to organize and facilitate.
You always know before the rest of us.
Well,
and we always
sometimes
ask. I like to ask and then just look at the expression on his face.
For many years, Mr. Keeler has been saying, Derso, how did you find out before me?
That's right. Which is, well, with him, what we do is we ask the question and stare. It's the ask and stare. And see
prolonged eye contact.
The reaction. All right, you have some things that are coming up. Let's start with Teachers and Teacher Appreciation Week.
So this is a national initiative, Teacher Appreciation Week, and we are proud to bring this initiative to this region. This is about the 10th year that we've had this national initiative done locally. We partner with First Source Federal Credit Union because they are all about being the Teachers Federal Credit Union, as well as WKTV. And so it's a public nomination process, which is underway now. People have until April 30th. If you think about one's life, whether it was preschool or elementary school or high school or even in college, I think we can all say that there was one person who really may have made a difference in our life and never got any recognition. And teachers, as you know, your wife being a teacher, they are overwhelmed. My wife works in a school. They're overwhelmed every single day, and it's not getting any easier.
Yeah.
And for us as a community to take time out to give them recognition, that's what this initiative is all about.
Well, and it sometimes goes beyond teaching the kids, right? Today especially, it really does. They're oftentimes the first line of defense. They're the ones that may see something that somebody else doesn't see.
Yes.
And that could also be some sort of a difficulty that a kid might be having and being able to be successful.
That's correct. My wife is a school social worker, so she works hand in hand with teachers every day, every week. There's something. So to do an initiative like this, to pull a teacher out and say, hey, you're being recognized for what you're doing. First of all, they're overwhelmed. They're like, it's not why I'm a teacher. And so it really makes them feel special to be recognized.
It is hard for them to accept that congratulatories, and because again, as you said, they do it for the children. They don't want to be seen as selfish.
Yes, they're very humble.
My wife's very selfish. I don't know what she's talking about.
So during the week of May 5th through May 9th, that's Teacher Appreciation Week, during the newscasts of WKTV, they will recognize and feature 3 teachers per day. So 15 teachers will be recognized throughout the week. And everybody gets very excited about it. So we're honored to partner with WKTV as well as First Source.
It's the unsung heroes.
I did not know that VVS, first of all, there's a career fair that's happening at VVS. We'll talk about that in a second. But I didn't know they, and maybe you know about this program, and I should have asked more of Ben, Farmer Ben, who was in here yesterday.
He'll be there with us at that event.
I did not know that they have this whole maple syrup manufacturing. There's a store, like a marketplace.
It's big.
So, and I'm assuming that the kids they learn how to basically collect the
right from the tree,
everything,
and
everything from the tapping and tubing and all that stuff.
It's big,
and then how to then process it and make it, how to store it, to jar it, to the labeling, the marketing of it, and then the retail and. They're a part of all of that, right?
Yes. It's very big, and we have recognized that program for its impact, not only with the students but the VVS area. So it is very huge.
I did. Ben brought us a little bit of a sample yesterday. I haven't tried it yet, but I do believe there's a pancake in my future somewhere.
And what's interesting is that now that we've known about the VVS maple syrup, I've been seeing signs advertising it everywhere. I was up in Oneida yesterday, and they were advertising it on a billboard, VVS maple syrup.
Yeah. Farmer Ben is just one of about 75 people in this area who will be there on May 1st. And he sits right down and talks to students. We'll have up to 1,000 students, roundtable discussions, and we do these in Herkimer County. We do them in Oneida County. We love going out and talking with students, and we want the students to leave the program with information that they didn't have before. That's awesome. It's really a great way to engage with students. So that's May 1st at VVS.
You do advise them to stay the hell out of radio and TV.
There are people from this station here to share what goes on. In the radio business.
I'm sure the people here are telling them, run. Okay, so at this career fair, do you get students from all over, or is it just VVS?
It's just VVS, yes.
Okay.
The one we just did a couple weeks ago in Herkimer County, we had 1,000 ninth grade students from every high school in Herkimer County. We did it at Herkimer High School, and it's great, and we do that every year.
I'm not sure if people understand how large VVS is. It's in terms of geography, but it's a large school.
It's a great school district.
Yeah. Okay, Small Business Week, and I know you do the luncheon.
Yep.
Right now, there's the importance of small business. I think in this area, and I'd be interesting. You're interested with your opinion. Our area is changing. The business makeup in this area is changing. We're seeing a lot of closures. Look at the mall, but at the same time, you're having a lot of these pop-ups, these small businesses that pop up. Having a focus on small business, I think, is more important than ever.
That's another national initiative. Same week, May 5th through May 9th, is Small Business Week across the country. And I think for decades and decades, the value of small businesses has been the backbone of the economy in this country.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And certainly, yes, we are going to see it. And I think that's history. You know, you're going to see businesses come, businesses go, but still the small business is the backbone. And it's the small mom and pops, and it's the people who give the shirt off their back to keep that business open. And whether it was through a pandemic, after a pandemic, you have to be able to adapt. But small businesses are so very, very important to any local economy, and that's why we do that.
And they've been competed, if you really think about it, competed against by malls at one time.
And survived.
In history. And look where the malls are going today. And now really being hammered by that delivery truck that comes
online
every
shopping.
Single day.
Yes, that was huge before the pandemic, and then it really picked up. So it is difficult. So to be able to put the emphasis on a small business is good for them as well. And we're very fortunate and honored to have Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshaw be our keynote speaker, because she chairs the Assembly Small Business Council this year. So it'll be great to hear her insight as well.
What are the? Are you guys playing any role in we have the future of the St. Luke's property. We have the future of St. E's. But we really have what is the future of Sangertown Square? Do you guys play any role?
Just as an advocate, and if there's a forum that people would like, that's what we do. We put that forum together. So we pay close attention. We have a weekly emails that I send out. We have about 17,000 people who get our emails on a regular basis, and we keep them up to date on what's happening, kind of be like a voice in the community, and it's business and community leaders, and that's a privilege.
And what is going in at the old Ponderosa? I ask and stare.
I don't know. No stare, no, not necessary.
I don't know. I saw his eyes twitch, Bill.
Cross your heart, point to God.
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet.
Let me get the Bible. Put your hand on the Bible.
It does say a sale pending over there. It said that for quite some time. So, do you know? Believe me, actually, your father totally knows.
I had a question.
You can't come back till you come back with that answer.
No, I had a question.
What's your question?
I think Saney should be turned into like a paintball arena. They should have paintball in the Saney's buildings.
All right.
You going to run with that?
I'm okay with that. Do you know that the Herkimer County Chamber of Commerce is looking for an executive director?
I did not know that.
Oh, I'll apply for that.
Denise Kavanaugh is just announced she'll be leaving in May. Her retirement. So I spoke with her yesterday. She asked me to keep my eyes and ears open. So if anyone is interested, the Herkimer County Chamber is.
How many years was she on this?
She's been there, I believe 2 or 3.
There is a lot going on in Herkimer County.
There is. Jim Bono, Mr. Happening here in Herkimer County, is doing a great job.
And I think the expansion, because you didn't do as much in Herkimer County as I think you do today, or maybe I'm wrong with that.
No, we've been there since our existence.
I didn't know that.
And we make it important. It's very important to us that people know that what happens in Herkimer affects people in Cooperstown, and Utica, and Rome, and that's been our mantra.
As a region,
you have to, because if a company comes here, people that work at Wolfspeed, they could live in Little Falls. And it's nothing to drive.
It's
back
a beautiful
and forth.
drive.
Yeah.
So we're stronger as a region when we work together, and we have been preaching that and promoting that for 25 years.
And then the regional healthcare recognition.
Yes, that's May 21st, and we put the focus on, if you look at this area, education, healthcare, those are our really strong areas. And we put the focus on because that's where the growth is. That's where the opportunity is. And those are billion-dollar industries, and that's where we focus to try to show people the good things that are happening there.
All right. And then the program this week in the Mohawk Valley.
Every Sunday, 9 a.m.
Did you ever think you'd have such an amazing producer and director for this program?
What's his name?
Don't call him David.
I can't do it without him. That's one of the real main reasons why I enjoy.
We're talking about Dave, our own Dave.
Yes, he is one of the reasons, and I'm not just saying this because you're here, but I really mean that. I tell people he really makes it easy for me, and it's a privilege to work with him. And he makes it fun, too. So,
Did you hear about his recent honor from the Boilermaker?
I did.
Yeah.
I did hear that.
So you have a quality producer.
I do. So.
And did you hear about his recent honor from the Florida Gators?
They're flying him down.
He picked them to win. So,
wow.
All right, so the program airs on Sunday
Every
mornings.
Sunday, 9 a.m. right here on WIBX and 92.3 FM. And I want to cap off by saying this. 25 years, we're going to have a celebration in October. We wanted a keynote speaker who could come and talk about the Mohawk Valley, what's happened in 25 years, the good, the bad, the ugly, the transition, the continued transformation. And we got into a room with our board members and we said, we want one person who could really hit a home run for us.
Yeah.
Tony Pacenti. He's been here.
He really has.
He is the focal point of our local governments. He's been through it all, and he was honored when I called him, but we've asked him to capture the last 25 years, and we're honored that he said yes, and I think it'll be a great story to tell.
We are certainly, you look back on history, and our urban renewal was something that kind of took so much away from us. We thought we were moving forward, and we weren't. I think we've learned the lessons from that, and what Mr. Paceni and really everyone, all the local leaders and everybody who's fought for everything that we have, has really placed us in a position where we have a chance to really thrive.
Just keep moving forward.
Yeah. And by the way, for the game the other night, hockey game, we parked in the garage. That was pretty good. I mean, and there are plenty of spaces. I don't want to tell everybody.
No. That was
Actually, let's leave it alone because I don't want people to take
That was
my
one
places.
of the greatest hockey games at any level that I'd ever seen.
Oh,
I was
wasn't
watching it. And to hear the folks from the NCAA on TV and streaming, all over talking about the Mohawk Valley.
Talking about the Pioneers
Utica
game.
University.
Maybe the fastest game I've ever seen played by the Pioneers. It was, I don't know how they made it through the period.
They came up short, but they're still champions in my view.
No doubt. I agree.
Absolutely.
All right, Ray, good stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Coming up, Megan updates the news, 8:34 at WIBX.
The church gives us a peace the world cannot give. Letting go of bitterness and resentment can help us find inner peace. The sacrament of reconciliation and the grace the sacrament provides may help us to forgive ourselves, forgive others, and enjoy a peace we may not have known for years. What a gift! On April 14th, Catholic churches throughout the diocese will be open for the sacrament of reconciliation. The light is on for you. Come home for Easter and celebrate the joy of the risen Christ.
Attention vendors, crafters, and collectors looking for the perfect place to sell your goods and reach thousands of eager shoppers? It's the world's largest yard sale happening again this year at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th. It's the ultimate selling opportunity. No more setting up signs, hoping for traffic, or dealing with no-shows. At the world's largest yard sale, thousands of shoppers come ready to buy, buy, buy. Whether you sell antiques, collectibles, handmade crafts, vintage clothing, or secondhand treasures, this is the place to be. But hurry, booth spaces are filling up fast. Secure yours today and get ready to turn your inventory into instant cash. It's the world's largest yard sale at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th. Sell more, earn more, reserve your spot now. For vendor info and booth reservations, visit the events page on this station's website. Don't wait, this event is too big to miss. Sponsored by the Potting Shed Antique, John's Mobile Homes and Accessories, Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating, and James Mitsubishi.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
The Temptations. And the Four Tops. Celebrating 40 years of Temptations and Four Tops. April 27th at Turning Stone Resort Casino. Plus celebrating 60 years of the iconic hit, My Girl. Tickets on sale now at turningstone.com. Come celebrate 40 years of magic. The Temptations, the Four Tops.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:37. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. 27 degrees still under sunny skies, but it is windy. We are under a wind advisory, your full weather forecast will be coming up next. A convicted sex offender is back behind bars after spending 20 months in prison. The Herkimer Police Department announced the arrest of 40-year-old Darius Max Richards, who entered a home and groped an 18-year-old girl. Richards was previously arrested in June 2023 for possessing child pornography. He was also charged with second-degree rape of a child under 15 and other counts of which he was convicted in April 2024. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison and was released and out on parole for the most recent incident, of which he was charged with forcible touching and second-degree burglary. He was held at Herkimer County Correctional on no bail due to having 5 previous felony convictions. A Utica woman was arrested on drug charges. Utica police say they conducted a stop on John Street on Friday night for alleged traffic violations. Police say the operator, 34-year-old Chantel Young, was driving under a suspended driver's license and was placed under arrest. Police say as she was asked to exit the vehicle, she allegedly tossed what appeared to be a baggie of narcotics onto her passenger side of the car. It was later turned out to be cocaine. Authorities also determined the plates of her car were stolen. Young was charged with criminal possession of stolen property in the 5th degree and criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 4th and 7th degree. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand has reintroduced legislation that would designate the Finger Lakes a national heritage area. NHAs are established by Congress to recognize a region's cultural, natural, or historical significance. Gillibrand believes such a designation would promote tourism, create jobs, and conserve resources. The bill didn't get to President Biden's desk last year, but if approved, there's no word if President Trump would sign it. A new budget has been approved for Ilion, and it goes in effect June 1st. The village board approved and adopted the over $8.6 million village budget during a board meeting yesterday. Mayor John Stevens addressed the loss of Remington Arms and said the village had to make up the loss of revenue, which he said was difficult. In order to make up the loss, the village turned to grants and additional funding to pad the budget. Because of that, village residents will see a tax increase of less than 1%. Another development came from the board meeting. The village has a new fire chief. The board approved Andrew Monahan to helm the fire department. And Herkimer remains under a state of emergency due to a water main break. The break was caused by a landslide which severed a line connecting the village's reservoirs. The village board held a meeting last night to go over options, and that included two ways to restore service. The first, a quick fix to get water flowing, but officials were unsure how long the patch would be. The second, constructing a road so crews can transport equipment to make full repairs to the line. Currently, the break is in an area where crews need to be lowered down via a rope in order to access it. The board has decided to pursue cost estimates first before proceeding with any plan. Your WIBX news time is 8:40. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Should be surprised by the snow showers, some getting accumulating snowfall, maybe a little slick on the roadways this morning. It's cold, it's breezy to windy at times, and even a wind advisory. Some of our northern counties, once again, winter weather advisories for inches of accumulating snowfall. We may have snow on the ground here this morning, but additional accumulations less than half an inch, near 30. That's it this afternoon with the gusty winds making it feel colder. Some snow showers tonight and tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik at the Weather Channel on WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
27 degrees, sunny skies, but windy. It's bitterly cold, but hopefully these days are few and far in between.
I got a quick break, and we're going to speak to a legendary sportscaster who Cully has a lot to say about. We'll give you that chance. Quick comment on Ray Derso, just on talking about teachers.
Yes.
And I do want to just make one little correct. What do you have on from Big Honey?
From
Big Honey, we love you, but you are way off on this.
Yes, I'm also from a teacher family. So he says teachers are overwhelmed 180 days a year, not all year. And I say that's brutally wrong, Big Honey.
First of all, it should be noted that teachers are paid for the school year.
Yes.
They are not paid during the summer.
No, they aren't.
So, well, you can, what they do offer is a convenience in New York State where you can spread out your paycheck over the course of a year, but you're not paid for the summer.
No,
those aren't your working days. However, if I could just stop my wife from buying treats for the kids, buying jackets for one that doesn't have one, buying all these resources.
You're never going to stop her.
Even at New Hartford, they don't have. We would save a hell of a lot of money. Let me break quickly, and we'll come back with he is the voice of Yukon, Joe D. And I have Yukon people in the studio. Which is really annoying, but we'll get through it. Joe D. Coming up, a legendary sportscaster.
Voice of the Huskies.
Go ahead, you're live.
Voice of the Huskies. He's the icon.
We'll come right back at WIBX.
Now at Kubota Orange Days, your local Kubota dealer at White's Farm Supply is delivering the savings you need for the life you love. Join us on Saturday, April 26th at our Waterville location for the exclusive deals on America's favorite compact tractors. We'll help you find the perfect match with special Orange Days financing and savings. Don't miss this chance to save on the Kubota you've always wanted. Only at White's Farm Supply in Waterville on Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
White's Farm Supply.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, I do say that Steve Cully goes back to when you were, when did you start interning with us? You were in college, right?
And you still have me muted. 2000.
If I didn't mute you, we wouldn't get through the morning.
We wouldn't.
So anyway, listen, we followed him when he tried out for the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
It was a walk-on attempt. We followed you in your games with Yukon, playing football, NFL Europe.
Yep.
Coaching at Holy Cross. I mean, the list goes on. Yep. And he is a very passionate Yukon fan and has been talking to me for quite some time about getting Joe D'Ambrosio on, who's a longtime Yukon broadcaster.
Well, you have to understand, this is the meeting of my two mentors. I get to witness
You were
this.
kind of explaining that.
That's so cool.
This
you
is
worked
a
with
dream
him.
of mine. Yes.
Yes. And
yes, I love Joe
Yes.
D, and I love you as well.
Yes.
So I get to see my two mentors interact. Joe D is the voice of the Huskies. He's the icon himself. He's the best of the best.
He is.
And he is on here. And
Right
you
now.
are going to speak with him.
Joe,
and my dream come true.
This almost seems like a fetish for Cully, but we're going to move forward. Joe, good morning.
Bill, I'm a little afraid that he referred to us as his mentors, so it's like it's our fault that he's inflicted on.
We've caused all of it. So good morning. Listen, Cully has been talking you up tremendously, and for certainly good reason. You are a New England legend and a sportscasting legend, really, throughout the country. Just asked Dick Vitale about that. You've gotten great recognition, and it's great to have you on the radio.
Bill, it's nice to be on with you and Megan and with Cully, who I do a weekly podcast with that has taken countless years off my life.
Yes, very much so.
Well, you're getting some major clicks, too. I mean, you guys are getting some hits.
Yeah, you know what? And I don't want to make this a bash Steve session because he doesn't deserve that, but he and Dave Schumann have done a great job of creating podcasts that touch all sorts of things. And I love our Wednesday's visits with Steve and Maria Conlon, who played for the Yukon women from 01 to 04. It's a lot of fun, but there's still I'm an old radio guy like you are, Bill, and there's still a big place for everyday radio in the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
So glad to be on with you on WIBX.
Well, I this radio station, by the way, celebrates 100 years this year.
Yes.
And
WTIC.
It's amazing how and really when you think about it, Joe, it's sports and talk that have really allowed AM radio to survive and thrive.
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
No question, Bill. There's no question. I mean, and some cars now, you can't even get an AM radio in the car.
I know. Yeah.
No, and they're working through it. There's debating it on Capitol Hill, trying to pass the Save AM radio bill. So here's hoping.
And I do have to say, go ahead on that. I'm certainly hoping something gets done because it is important, and it is discouraging that there are young people that do not even know how to switch to AM radio. It's pretty crazy.
Seems bizarre, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
A far from when, Megan's 100 years younger than us, but it's a far change than we were growing up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But what I've learned about AM radio is in the case of, let's say, God forbid, a national disaster, FM radio is going to be pretty much useless. The AM radio and the transmitter and our signal and strength is what's going to be used to transmit emergency messages. But also the fact is that AM radio is legendary in itself. It's one of the few places that people can go to listen to 24-hour news.
Yes, it's absolutely right. And, I tell kids who want to get in the business and they ask about the value of radio. I said, radio will always be there. And for exactly that reason, Megan, if God forbid there's a national disaster, you're going to get your information from the AM radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, the internet's going to be down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm a huge Syracuse fan, and I apologize for that. Yes. There was a time, Joe, when, in basketball, that was the golden standard. And then along comes Yukon. And then Boeheim leaves, and this last year just was. And I realize that your version of an off year at Yukon this year is nothing compared to what we just went through at SU. But what an off year and a coaching change. It's been tough in Syracuse.
Well, the one thing you got to remember, Bill, is that Syracuse took the money, and you couldn't blame them for wanting to go into the ACC. But it's really changed their dynamic as far as their major sports teams are concerned. Football is never a player for an ACC title. Syracuse hasn't been a player for an ACC title, but the checks don't bounce, and you got a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, and look, UConn would have followed that path, but the AD at Boston College at the time, Gene DiFilippo, kind of blocked them from getting into the ACC, and maybe they were a little fortuitous in that because for them, certainly the Big East is a much better fit.
Boy, and what memories of the Big East, right? I mean, just incredible memories of those battles.
It was the best. It's the only league still that's had three teams go to the Final Four. That was Georgetown, Villanova, and St. John's in '85. But countless national championships. And look, the one thing I miss the most about not doing the games anymore is going to the Big East tournament. That was in New York City, obviously. That was a great week, no matter how good your team was, because the enthusiasm was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was those days, and you realize when and you wouldn't probably realize this, but if you're a Syracuse fan, you do. And we knew we were in different territory when you'd watch a Syracuse game, and every commercial, Davey, what was every commercial was for like a Hardee's, all these places we'd never heard of up here, chicken and biscuits.
Buc-ee's.
I'm like, what is all of this? And we're a bit of a fish out of water, although with the money that can be spent now in college sports, all it takes is 1 year. You're willing to spend some money, and everything can change. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh boy.
My first thought, guys, is if NIL was around when Steve was playing football at Yukon, he'd be a multimillionaire. He was so good on the offensive line.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that the way you wanted me to say that?
That's exactly, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
I thought he wrote it down for you. I'm not sure if you got the email.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He sent me the email. I don't think there's a problem with the athletes getting paid, Bill. My big problem is the ability for kids to play at 3, 4, sometimes 5 different schools if it
crazy.
works out for them. You just try to get an identity with a team. And that's a thing of the past. I mean, you look at the two teams that played for the national championship last night, and Houston had a couple of 3-school guys. And Florida, I think, had at least one. That I have a bigger problem with that than I do with paying the kids. Although, and Steve knows I've said this on our podcast, I do think at some point somebody's going to mess up. And it's going to flip the whole thing over.
Yeah.
They could limit that. They could put restrictions on that, because one of the things I think that this has done is it has prevented national championship year for Syracuse. Carmelo Anthony, his son's going to be playing in Syracuse next year.
Yes.
But Carmelo there as a freshman, gone to the NBA. All of a sudden, you have players now who are like, I can make real money playing college basketball, so they're sticking around. I kind of feel like that is a positive, but this bopping year after year from school to school is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem I have.
Yeah.
And look at the Big East now. St. John's with Patino there has like a treasure trove of money. They just signed Bryce Hopkins from Providence, who had missed most of the last 2 years. They had signed Kadari Richmond from Seton Hall, and Patino said, and not in a bad way, just said, we were able to pay him more.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, before we used to joke, guys, about schools paying players, but now it's the truth.
Yeah, it is. Joe D'Ambrosio.
And he accurately picked the women winning the national championship.
I was just going to bring up the women.
Picked it perfectly.
It is, I think the last 10, 15 years has been the argument over parity in college sports and in professional sports as well. Women don't make what men make. All of a sudden, we've seen a situation where women's sports, women's college sports in particular, it's drawing all of a sudden and really exciting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we've been lucky in Connecticut, Bill and Megan and Steve. And Steve knows this. I mean, we've had, since 1995, the Yukon women have been incredible. They went through a 9-year stretch without winning a national championship, and people thought it was the eve of destruction. I mean, oh, my God, is Gino losing his touch? Are they not getting as good of players? Well, they went through a stretch where they suffered some heartbreaking losses, and then they went through a stretch where nobody was healthy. So this title on Sunday against South Carolina was just, to me, was vindication for everything that they've done.
Yeah.
And it was a coronation for Paige Beckers. I mean, we have talked a lot about the fact that, well, Paige doesn't have a title. Can she be included in the all-time greats at Yukon? And now that's a moot point. Now she can be, because she's gotten that title, and she's probably taken her place on the Mount Rushmore of Yukon women's sports.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you could pick a Mount Rushmore, who are the 5 faces of the Yukon women's Mount Rushmore?
That's 4.
Megan, you have bigger Mount Rushmore than anybody, isn't it?
Because there's so many to choose from.
I'm glad you said that. Brianna Stewart.
Absolutely.
Diana Taurasi, Maya Moore, Paige Beckers, and I would say Rebecca Lobo, because she was there at the start. Although you could say Sue Bird, you could say Tina Charles, you could say Nafisa Collier. I mean, the list goes on and on. But if I was going to give you a 5-headed Mount Rushmore, Megan, those would be my 5.
Wow.
Well, I mean, Joe, I don't know what you're talking about. I believe Trump's already in the works of making it a 5-headed Mount Rushmore. So just be careful
and
what you.
And they will be put in the Gulf of America.
That is, you may be correct there. Listen, I got to say, in working, I worked a while in Providence and loved my time there. But we all sat around in Providence looking at our paychecks saying, the market you need to work in is Hartford. It's a great market, and you seem to have just hit the ultimate home run, and we appreciate you coming on the air with us, and appreciate the fact that you do a podcast with this guy here. It's that's quite an
It's not easy. It's not easy. I drive him up a wall, even more than you.
I don't know if that's possible, but
I don't know.
We need some highlights. We need proof of this.
Joe, thank you for taking
it's all the off-air stuff, Megan.
I'm sure there's like a gag reel somewhere.
Yeah. All right.
You know what? We're going to put it together as like a Christmas CD and try to sell it to make money. But
there you go. We can auto-tune it, like auto-tune the news.
Joe, thank you. Thank you. And
Joe and Megan, thank you for having me on. It was great. Anytime. Just now that you got my number, give me a call.
All right, cool. We will. Thanks you so much.
Joe.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. A legend of sportscast broadcasting in the New England area, and specifically for Yukon, the voice of the of the Huskies.
I grew up on his voice.
I mentioned this. Oh, I did want to say the first Bloom bridal event is now on through April 30th at Steve Lennon and Company Jewelers in the Village of New Hartford. 30% off engagement ring settings. Buy one, get one free wedding bands, in-store 12-month interest-free financing with some exclusions, and an amazing custom bridal line. And you know what? There's a jeweler in-house. Certified master jewelers and gemologists in-house. Steve Lennon is there. And that means you don't have to ship your ring off to have it repaired. It's Steve Lennon and Company Jewelers, 23 Genesee Street, New Hartford. Your trusted jeweler for over 30 years.
Ideas about food. Where do they get this stuff? Like eating Brussels sprouts helps you hit home runs. And eating carrots gives you X-ray vision? It's nuts. And I honestly have no idea where my daughter got this notion that broccoli is the official food of professional ballerinas. Kids, the only reason my 4-year-old loves cantaloupe is because he's convinced it comes from the moon.
One small step for man, lots of potassium for mankind.
And the other day when my oldest came up to me and said, "Mom, will eating peas and carrots really help me pull off a fakey frontside ollie with a twist?" I look him in the eye and say, "It can't hurt, honey. It can't hurt."
Moms everywhere are finding creative ways to help their kids eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome,
W295EI,
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Sound looms on Wall Street. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Stock futures are surging, up 1,000 for the Dow, though that's only a quarter of the losses that have piled up the past 3 trading days on worries new U.S. tariffs on most imports could hurt the economy as other countries reciprocate. But Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent tells Fox many of them want to make deals negotiating on those tariffs.
Maybe almost 70 countries now who have approached us. So it's going to be a busy April, May, maybe into June.
But China is not negotiating, as the president warns an even bigger tariff looms this week if they don't cancel reciprocal tariffs on American exports. China calls that bullying. Fox's Peter Ducey reads more of the Chinese statement from the White House.
China will never accept this. If the U.S. insists on its own way, China will fight to the end. And this is why they're so mad. So there's the possible tariff announced yesterday, 50%. On top of the reciprocal tariff announced last week, 34%. Then the tariff on fentanyl trafficking announced in February. It all adds up to 104% of tariffs.
Now, the U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer faces a lot of questions about the Trump tariff policy at a Senate hearing next hour, especially from critical Democrats. Also in Congress,
the No Rogue Rulings Act is set to get a vote today in the House. It would limit the ability of district court judges to issue nationwide injunctions in response to executive actions by President Trump. Democrats accuse Republicans of trying to intimidate judges and claim they're interfering with the separation of powers.
Fox's Ryan Schmemell. The Supreme Court's lifted a judge's ruling to block more deportation flights under the Alien Enemies Act. Attorney General Pam Bondi just told Fox,
Americans are safer, and domestic terrorists, foreign terrorists, you better look out because we're coming after you. I'd start self-deporting if I were you, because we're going to find you.
The court did also rule that those being deported must be allowed to legally challenge removal. It is a good morning in Gainesville after Florida won the men's college basketball championship, beating Houston 65-63. America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my